Good evening, everybody there. Welcome to War Commander Unshackled, the Euro show again, this Saturday night punch. And we have mainly a European panel and one from across the pond. So I'll introduce them all there as Skipjack, City, Switch, Trickster, and myself, Anton Airlines. Hello, panel, and hello, everybody there on YouTube.
Hello, Anton.
Hello, guys.
Everybody out there. Hi, guys.
So, what sort of week was that in War Commander Land?
Oh, an interesting week, to say the least.
We've got a few things that went on regarding PvP and things like that. What were changed and not changed and all that. What were your views on all that?
Well, I'll throw it out there just to kind of throw it out there to start the conversation, and then you guys can say whatever you want. I mean, Kixeye made a proposal that overwhelmingly almost crashed forums, by the way. Forums and Discord blew both of them up about the hitting players, that they would only be able to hit a player 3 times and then would not be able to hit that player again for another 7 days. And yes, I am a Kixeye moderator, but as a player, I'll express my opinion on that. To me, that was total BS. I can't imagine that even remotely helping PvP. I understand that they're trying to come up with an idea for what we call the 69ing issue, which has always been a tactic in game, but I get it. But doing that, it would actually really hurt PvP, in my opinion, especially limiting. I mean, I understand why they were trying to do what they were trying to do, but 7 days was entirely too long. And I said this before in another show, and I believe it was the other Unshackled show, and I'll say it again, doing something like that, and I will say the player's name because that is his name in game, but doing something like that is like a Stewart's wet dream, okay? So a player like that could come into a sector and literally talk crap and talk trash talk, even non-game related trash talk. And I'm not saying Stewart per se, but any player could come in and act like a total asshat and have the entire sector, literally want to blow them out of the water, pop his bubble a million gazillion times. And then after everybody that was able to even attempt his base or her base and hit that base, that person would have free reign. That is his MO during Warpath. That is a lot of people's MO during Warpath, is to go into a sector and run their mouth and act like an asshat and then leave for a day and then come back, and they have free reign of that sector. They can hit anybody they want without fear of retaliation. So that in itself, it sounds like a great idea, and I see why Kixeye is trying to do what they're trying to do. I applaud them for trying to come up with some ideas, but some of the things that they have proposed can be abused in the opposite direction, and that is a perfect example of that. And I think that, first of all, 7 days is entirely way too long, and I just don't think that that idea is feasible. The overwhelming idea that was put forth by a Kixeye employee and also by another player previously before the focus group was a one-time revenge hit. Now, I'm not sharing any names. We are allowed to discuss about what was talked about in the focus group, but overwhelmingly, with the exception, I think, of one person in that focus group, overwhelmingly, the one-time revenge hit was the most popular plan, that you would have one time within a certain time frame. We all agreed that 6 to 8 hours was too low because of the time, because this is a worldwide game, and we all agreed that 24 hours was too long, and it was a one-time hit, whether you failed or you succeeded, one time. And when you hit that person, whether they were in a bubble or not, the only way you couldn't hit them is if they were being hit by someone else. But you could hit them while they were in a bubble. It would pop your bubble. Tough cookies. If you want a revenge hit, you got to man up, pop your fucking bubble. Excuse my language, your fucking bubble. and, grab your cookies and take your revenge hit and take it like a man or a woman if you decide to revenge hit someone. And we kind of came to like a sort of agreement of 12 hours was a good time frame because of the time zones around the world. People work for a living. Sometimes it's weekend, sometimes it's not, sometimes it's nighttime. I don't know where the 3-hit 7-day idea came from. I personally have never seen that proposed anywhere. Maybe I missed a meeting or something, or maybe I missed a group or something, but I think that that's not even feasible in game, and I think that would ruin PvP. So those are my opinions. I think the one-time revenge hit or spec op even, that was actually my idea like about 4 months ago. Create a spec op, make it, I don't know, 10,000 medals, 20,000 medals, that you'd have that spec op for one time, not a cooldown, not that you could use it for 5 different players. One time you go buy a spec op and you can one time revenge hit that person if they're in a bubble. That to me would basically makes 69ing absolutely a moot point. At that point, you could hit someone if that person had hit you within a certain period of time, that you could go and get that spec up, buy it, and then go.
What do you guys all think about that suggestion or that idea there?
I think it's the only way right now forward is it don't have to be a spec up. It could be something that a pop up that you get the chance. You could either select it or dismiss it.
There you go. I didn't think about that. Yeah, like a pop up.
I think it's the only way forward. They got it totally wrong. They know they did as soon as they put it out. I think it's just a shame. It's a shame that it's being overlooked. This revenge hit.
I would love to have that revenge hit.
Yeah. Because it's not just that. Don't forget, most of these guys, they're not going to lose their platoons. When they take a 69, they're not losing their platoons. They're moving them out of their base and letting the other guy take out the certain buildings. So it might be their CC and a few other buildings that are damaged. So you still got hit. You're still going to hit a pretty full base on a revenge hit.
Because whenever you're basically, it's going to help the people who are in different time zones and not equal it. Because if you're hit by somebody who lives in Australia, you're going to be asleep. They're going to be awake. That's not his or her fault because you're asleep.
But
you've never any chance to hit them back because you're always on the opposite side of the time frame.
Yep.
Yeah, the guys in and I won't mention any names because I don't want to upset them, because I did on the last show that I was on. So I'll just mention the sector, but again, it's not naming and shaming. This isn't a bad thing because they're really good fighters, and you guys here on the panel will attest to that because we did a live show on their sector. The guys in Sector 22 are fighters. They're really good fighters, and honestly, they do honor the 1v1. So if you challenge them to a 1v1, they honor it. Whether they come to your sector or you go to their sector, they really do honor that. And I credit them for doing that because not too many sectors are willing to do that. A lot of other sectors will play dirty and say, yeah, I'll do a 1v1. And the next thing you know, you're swarmed and all your shit's dead and there is no 1v1. Or they got to smash your base and, all your crap is in the crapper and you don't do anything. But the guys from Sector 22 know my home sector, 60% of the people in my home sector are European time zone or forward. So that means when dinner time and 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock my time, everybody, almost 60% of my sector is asleep or they've already gone to work. So those guys, they're smart. They know when to come to our sector to invade. So like you said, is that if we had that 12-hour time period, that would give you a time to be able to have that revenge hit. And if you're like, and I will name and shame him because he's on the panel, and if you're like Trickster and you get up and you take your shower and for an hour before you go to work, you look and see who you got to hit before you go to work. You would have time to do that revenge hit before you go off to your job.
Yep.
Yeah, and after you do that, go to work. You've got, 8 hours at work, 9 hours at work maybe. You're repaired by the time you get home as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a double bonus. It's,
Right, exactly. You'll have time for your base to repair. I mean, there were some people in the focus group that they didn't like the idea, you know, when Kix I said, well, yeah, if you do the revenge hit, but then your bubble will pop. Well, you know what? I just say it out loud. Suck it up, Buttercup. If you want to be a fighter, you have to be able to hit. You know, hit and be hit.
It wouldn't have to pop if you'd done it like, remember the old war room? If you based it on that you didn't have to jump sector or anything, you just hit that person.
That's true. I didn't think about that. I mean, I didn't know. I don't think we ever, in the focus group, I don't think we ever, because there was a lot of information when that idea was proposed. I don't think we ever got to the point where he said, well, would that person be able to revenge hit you back after you revenge hit them? I think the proposal was no, that the proposal was as if that person came to you and hit you first. And I know that sounds kind of odd because you're like, well, what about people who fight each other back and forth and back and forth? Again, and they also said, well, the 69ers could use the revenge hit, and they could use that as an excuse to revenge hit another person. And I see, yes, also where that could maybe be abused or twisted, but I see it more as a better opportunity, like the dropships were, to be able to get into a base, do what you need to do, try that person's base, at least try to get them for a 1-star, and then, you know, you're done. You get your chance to get your revenge hits in.
But if it was based on like the war room, then bubbles wouldn't matter anyway. Because they're counting down.
Exactly, the bubbles wouldn't matter.
Then
exactly.
If you wanted to come and hit me again, you'd have to come and jump to me and physically hit me.
And also, maybe Kixeye could maybe sample this out over a PvP weekend and that there, and try it out.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, do something mad, or make it not like free or anything like that there, but make it a reduced PvP weekend and run some sort of bonus, or you're allowed to buy logistics in the gear store for 48 hours or something like that to help your units. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's a good idea.
And
there
also
was
Hunter brought that up as a logistic pack as well. Hunter Hamish there.
Yeah, that's true. One of the Discord players just recently in the general chat brought up, and we had a very spirited, constructive, albeit some players were frustrated, debate in the general chat room. It was very great information. As a matter of fact, I turned my Bandicam on so I could record it all because the information was so great. One of the players had said that they thought that it would be a good idea, that they thought that if someone's 69ing someone, so if you're 69ing and you're not doing any damage, like you're not hitting any buildings, and I don't mean walls, I'm talking about real buildings, that the infamy of that player that you're 69ing should go down. So what do you guys think about that? Because I haven't thought about how that would be exploited yet, but I actually thought that was kind of a good idea, because when I see 69ing, that's mostly what I see, is that they're holding a base while that other person is running around getting infamy in the sector. So what do you think about, in other words, let's just say I went to City's sector and I held City's base, and then he ran around with his tunes and he was collecting infamy from everybody that was in that sector. But I wasn't actually actively hitting City's base. That's what I see in 69ing. I think that pisses people off the most, is the bases are really being held, and then they jump out and then they get a buddy bubble.
Yeah. I was thinking there and that there, yes, along that line there. But do you know the way whenever this 10-minute rule, which I don't like, I wish it would go.
No, I love it.
You like, but here, horses for courses,
Yeah, I know. Another person.
We can agree to disagree, and there's no hassle or bother, you know what I mean? But I wish that more of your base would repair after a hit instantly. That means that people would actually physically have to go in and do something in your base.
Scooby learnt me a trick to that one.
He did he? Yeah. Care to share?
Not live.
Not live. Okay, don't share it live. We can share it later.
Yeah, most like, I'm not talking about your CC or Go bar or anything at all like that there, but maybe your tech center, your helipads, your weapons lab, your fuel pumps, and they all instantly healed after an attack.
Yeah.
That would be, you would have 2 stars. So somebody, they wouldn't be fit to just go in and do that and all the time there.
I sort of agree with you. I can see what you're coming from. You mean where you attack and end attack,
Yes.
Yeah.
and you get the 2 stars or whatever they've already got still.
And then I wouldn't mind so much about the 10-minute rule because it would be sort of 50-50, wouldn't it? You still can be hit multiple times.
Yeah.
But also people will have to put their units in rather than a level 3 with a buggy, which I don't agree with.
Yeah, I don't agree with
I
that.
get what you're saying, 100%.
Just to split it down the middle a little bit.
The thing is, Kicks, I have made it cheaper to coin your CC now. If you coin that when you're doing it, it's 1 coin. I know a lot of people don't put coins into
I
the game.
can't even get to coin it.
Oh, yeah, I can. I can get it fast enough.
Because it's that quick, you see. So the other buildings would heal quickly. You wouldn't worry about your CC.
Yeah,
that's true. What do you guys think about? Well, I'll go to the extreme because this was also brought up towards the end of that Discord conversation before I had to go fix dinner. The other part of that, well, actually, there's 2 things, but one of them is, and this is the extreme. What if they started charging for jumping again? I will admit it. Okay. This is when I was in Sector 32, which is basically where my base was born. I think. I can't be for sure. When I was pulled from Battle Pirates to be a moderator full-time for War Commander was during the Banshee event. So I don't even understand the Banshee event because I wasn't playing War Commander full-time then. I was only a level 22. So I know what a Banshee is, but I have no idea what happened during that event. But evidently it must have been really bad if they had to pull me to be a dedicated moderator just for War Commander because I was moderating all the games. But back then they said they missed the old days of when somebody jumped into your sector and they had to pay money to jump out. I think it was like 9 coin or something, or 11 coin. I don't remember, to jump out.
I believe. 9 coins.
Now, yeah, I was just a mouth back then. That was Rocket, Jano, Midnight Command, Data King, USN1. Those guys were sort of like my mentors, and they wanted me just to be a mouth and to distract people and drive my tunes around and hold tunes and hold bases. I had no freaking idea what I was doing. I was losing shit left and right. I didn't care. I was a level 28. I didn't care. When I hit level 32, I was having a blast because I was past level 30. My base got smashed all the time. I didn't care. It looked like, an airstrip. I didn't give a flying fook. It was a lot of fun. But what was fun about it is the same people would jump in and we would have old-fashioned wars. What if Kixeye brought that back? Or do you guys think that would ruin PvP if people had to pay to jump?
For people that don't coin, it's just that would restrict them more.
Yeah.
Makes it too hard.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's a real true answer, a real solution to this issue.
No, me neither.
Back to losing infamy for 69, and yeah, they should.
Yeah, losing infamy for 69ing. All right, I will say in the Discord that going back to pay to jump was the least favorite option that was offered.
What it does is I think it reduced PvP even more because the guys that can't coin to jump out are not going to jump so often.
Yeah, then they would be stuck and then they would become farmers.
We used to do that back in the day. It was a week-long war.
Yeah.
We were stuck there. We had no choice. But it was fun.
Yeah.
That's what...
But that was back in the day when coining was frowned upon as well.
Oh, yeah.
Combine revenge hits with coin jumps. Oh, Jim said, how about combine revenge hits with coin jumps? I didn't think about that. That's an idea.
Well, yeah, losing infamy for 69ing.
I do like the losing infamy. I think that's the bigger part of it, is losing infamy for 69ing. And I won't say the player's name because I don't want to name and shame, but we did have a player. I don't think they're still in our sector now, but they jumped in the other day and kind of fiddled around. We have most of our jump spots marked either by already they're jailed because there was an enemy there. So when they land in a jail. Or we have players who mark places around the sector. That's how well we know our sector of where the enemies are going to land. Plus, we watch the leaderboard religiously for people who land to have a lot of infamy. We had a player land the other day, and they played their little games, but they didn't have all their alts with them, just a couple. Well, they landed, I think it was last night, And that's what they did. And they even had the cojones to call one of their bases, I won't say their alliance, but it was the alliance's name. Let's just say it was 123, Alliance 123 Infamy Bank. So they even had the cojones to name the base the Infamy Bank. And that's what they were doing. They were going around with that little base and hitting untagged players, I guess thinking they could get away with it so they could drive the infamy up. So then they could then pop the bubble and then hit that base and gain more infamy. And I thought to myself, well, you got some really big cojones to be doing that, especially in my sector.
I've just had I suppose it's called a brain fuck. What if, I don't know if Kickstarter can employ it some way. What if you spent so long in a sector, if you hit another player that's living in that sector, that the actual infamy was reduced? So your infamy banks that sit in a sector, the same sector all the time, you jump back to that sector to get to drain your infamy or to take a 69. The actual infamy is reduced.
A cooldown on your infamy, like a timer, the longer you stay somewhere, and you get more for going to sectors you haven't been in.
Yeah. So when you jump out, the infamy bar raises. When you sit in a sector for a long time, the infamy bar slowly drains down.
Oh, that's
but
interesting.
It's still exploitable. Everything we suggest is always going to be exploitable. It's very hard, and the only way I see Kickstarter getting rid of this 69 in bother is finding a new system for the infamy. Where it's a fixed amount you win, you don't lose nothing if you obviously someone gains off you if you die, but it's a fixed amount when you win and nothing when you lose.
Okay, so there's one more idea I figured I'd throw it out there because we talked about it in the pre-show, which is one of the reasons why we were late. Sorry, YouTube. But one of the other ideas was to, and again, because the levels have changed, we would change this level, what was to bring back the level lock. So it used to be that the level lock was at level 30. So to bring back the level lock, but increase that to 35, and that so no one 35 or under would be able to hit any high players. That would certainly help somewhat with the 69ing, especially the level 3s, the level 4s. That's like this particular player, actually 2 players that was in our sector last night. But again, I don't want to name the names of who they were, but that's what they had. They had mostly level 3s, 7s, 14s, and 10s surrounding their bases. And what if we brought back the level lock so they couldn't hit any tunes either, that, in that level? And what about, and extend that to also the 5 up and 5 down for all of us? How do you guys feel about that? Because I did go to the archived post from Sulaco when Kixeye released the level lock and made it everybody could hit anybody above level 2. How do you guys feel about that? Because at the time, Kixeye said that if they made it 5 up, 5 down for higher level players, that higher level players would get bored. And the reason why I say that is because they did do this in another game and it ruined PvP. And I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to log into the game or go to the Discord and check it. But I'm pretty for sure they lifted it. The high level players got bored because they didn't have anybody else to hit.
Yeah, and I think that probably would be the problem again.
So if we made a 5 up to 5 down for everybody, you think that would probably ruin PvP? Yes,
yeah, especially when you get to sort of 40, 45, 46, 47, you start scouting a sector.
And there isn't anybody. It's kind of like Warpath. That's what it reminded me of when someone brought that up in Discord. Okay, what about the level lock for the low levels? Do you think that would help if we made it so that the low levels couldn't hit anybody? So if we made it up to 35, in other words, somebody
you hit the nail on the head with that. I believe, there's something there. The lower levels, they should be they're classed in their own sort of bracket. So up to what did you say?
Yes, and also stop the level 3s gaining information. The 10-minute cooldown.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what this infamy bank guy was. He was a total low-level guy, and he was running around collecting all this infamy from the non-tag bases, which of course isn't against our sector rules. But then as soon as he got it, we were watching him. I recorded him on my GeForce recorder on purpose so I could report him. Yes, I reported him as a player, not as a moderator. But I reported him because it was game manipulation. So they were going around stealing the infamy, and then the higher level bases were going over and hitting, or vice versa. He would go hit the higher level bases to get more infamy, and then the other guy would go and hit him to get the infamy. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what they were doing. And that's exactly what they were doing in our sector. And I thought to myself, okay, this is total game manipulation right here. This is infamy manipulation.
Yeah.
Oh, switch. Yes, please do say something. Well, he's muted, so I'm waiting for him to say, bullseye!
Bullseye!
What do you think, Switch, about the suggestions? What's your ideas on improvement for PvP? The whole experience. You know what I mean? You know the way it's.
I think all the low levels accounts like 230. It will be great if they could could hit maybe 5 up, 5 up. But from level 40 you can hit all the round, the full package. Because then you don't have those low levels sitting outside their owner's base and just wait for.
So you want to go the other way then? Once you get to level 40, you can hit anything, and until you get to that stage, you can't.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because we used to have it level locked at 30 before, where we couldn't hit anybody under there. And we had so many bad mouths. Once I took that away, that was it. Gloves off.
Yeah, that was the problem.
That was the only. I agreed with that, because that was the only bad thing about it. Was until I hit level 30, I was the one who ran around and hit. Like I said, I had no idea what I was doing. Jana would just say, "Take this, and this unit, and go smash that guy just for running his mouth." You know, that kind of stuff.
How long would it take to make a level 35 ult? How long will it take you to get up to level 35?
Gosh. With the master loot, not very long. No, I'm just kidding. Have somebody pop a bunch of Iron Strike 60s, it wouldn't take you long. Maybe a week.
A week. So say a week. So if you were to level lock up to 35, that would discourage people making these level 2 ults every 2 seconds, maybe.
But from level 40 you can hit even the level 2. Who a real player who wants to hit a level 2?
I do.
Me, if it's infamy.
Yeah, but no,
I hit a level 3 last night for 8. I'm sorry.
I hit one today.
Because I had lost infamy in another battle when I was low, so I found a level 3 for 8.
Level 2 is about par with my gaming skills.
There's another one. Hunter Hamish is saying, why not use a level lock according to your infamy rather than your level?
Ooh, that's different.
That's a good one, but sometimes there's level 3s with 13,000 infamy, and it's just not.
Yeah, them infamy banks.
That could work.
And we've been watching somebody do this.
Yeah, because reporting the infamy banks has just become. I mean, I report them as a player. Again, I'm talking as a player, speaking as a player, not as a moderator. I report them the old-fashioned way, through the reporting system. And whether or not anything gets done to them, I don't know, but I still report them. I have seen people lose their infamy before. Yes, because I am a stalker like that, and I have followed people around. But I have seen people been stripped of their infamy before. So I like that. I've seen people been thrown in craters just for a day, which you lose your infamy. Now, whether or not that was because they were being foul-mouthed in global, and that's why they got chat banned, so you lose your infamy. Keep running your mouth and you say nasty things in chat, you get chat banned. You do get a crater, and you do lose your infamy. So I'd like to see, that's a whole different subject. I'd like to see Kixeye take a harder stance on some of those things that's said in global and have somebody dedicated to reporting that kind of stuff. I like that idea, but I like Hunter's idea. It is a kind of a cool idea. But then again, it's kind of like Warpath. Then it limits us as to who we can actually get infamy from.
Yeah.
Skipjack, Mr. B in YouTube's asking you a question.
Okay, hang on, I'll look over. Mr. B, please may I ask Skipjack about the preview and try to bring it back. Okay, that was actually brought up in not the last focus group, but the focus group before that. They are trying to work on bringing a preview server back. And I'm not betraying Kixeye by saying this. I'll just throw it out there because it's already been discussed on Discord. The previous preview server was run through Facebook. So it was a server that was a Facebook server. It wasn't owned by Kixeye. It wasn't run by Kixeye. And anything that Kixeye wanted to do to it, you guys remember when the preview server, we couldn't even use certain units? I mean, it got so bad that the only thing we could test was like the new unit and use a bunch of old stuff. We couldn't use a bunch of our special forces. There were a lot of units we couldn't use. So I think they want to do it. I just don't think it's a top priority. I'll bring it up again. If you'd like for me to do that, I can. It's always on my list of things to do. The focus group is pretty close to that. And also occasionally when the guys from Kixeye are active in Warpath, they like to see people doing things and showing things during Warpath. So if you ever want to test something or you ever want to show something, and also Discord is a great place to send your videos and stuff if you see things that aren't happening. I agree that I wish we had a preview server because, especially for the events, because they started on a Thursday, and then when we realize there's a problem by sometimes Thursday afternoon, it's already Friday the next day for the people in Australia. And by the time it gets fixed, it's already Saturday night for the people in Australia. And sometimes it doesn't get fixed at all. Excuse me. And we have to look for workarounds. I'd love to have a preview server back. I just think it's kind of low on the priorities. And actually,
I only ever done one preview, and so many people were just bothered about smashing me all up there. So.
Yeah, that was some of the last 3 or 4 previews that I was in. That's all people did, and because they gave us unlimited gold, because we couldn't use almost all of our units except for like really old units and then the brand new unit that came out. We literally had more fun changing our game names than we did actually doing the preview server. So it really didn't serve a purpose. And I can see why, because I don't know this for sure. I don't. But if it was a Facebook server, I'm sure Kixeye probably had to pay Facebook money to use that server. Why would you want to use it if it doesn't work anymore? Yeah. Why would you want to pay to use something that doesn't work anymore? So if hopefully they're working on something on their end that would be maybe a preview server, and I mean for a very limited amount of people, like maybe 20 people or 25 people or even less, and then maybe the moderators, or the moderators don't have to be included, just the Kixeye employees. If we could rotate those people in and out like we do with the focus groups, I think that would be a good thing. The other bad thing about the preview servers is every time they would have something in the game, pictures would get taken, video would get taken, stats would get taken, and then all that would get posted. And a lot of times that's the reason why they do the preview server, is to see whether or not something's OP'd or to see if something is really a piece of shit. And so stats change, pictures change, artwork change, AI changes from the preview server to when it actually goes live. So I think that's another downside of having the preview server that a lot of players don't understand, is that most of the people, I'll be honest, and Data King, if he's around and if he's listening, please do get on the panel, dude. Data King will attest. A lot of the last preview servers that we were in when we were part of the Trusted Testers, and before that we were Covert Ops, the only reason why the people got into those servers was to take pictures and take videos and post them on their pages. They didn't even test the units. And that doesn't do this, the community any service at all.
No, it's a disservice, actually.
Yeah, it's a disservice because you're posting information that probably will change.
I think Michael's going back to the 69 and he's saying how about a 24 to 48 hour jump reset.
That's interesting. 24. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. That's right. Because sometimes we get that message in game. It says, would you like to reset your timer?
Yeah.
And of course, the timer's free. Ooh, that's an interesting idea. 24 to 48 hours. That would be interesting because that happened to me. I left my alliance, which was a very small alliance to begin with. And now it's an alliance of 3. And one guy doesn't play. That's my original alliance, my moderator alliance. It's Gypsy with an I. And I went to a sector. Then I jumped to a couple more sectors just to kind of take some heat off of some of my friends and game acquaintances because of some bullshit that was happening in game. And I went to a sector and I got hit by a guy, and that's exactly what happened. I got hit by a guy, and he was holding his base with his alt. I'm sure that was his alt because it wasn't anybody that I knew in that sector, and I know that sector very well. And he was being held, and as soon as he was done in my base, he jumped to his sector. Well, in the time it took me to get past all the freaking screens in my base, hit all the, yes, I want to repair my tunes shit, then to the thing to jump to where he was, to relocate where he was, when I jumped to his sector, which was Sector 78, by the way, I don't mind mentioning the sector, but I won't say the player's name, he was getting a body bubble. So yes, I was feeling your pain because I probably would have lost my ass in his base, but I would have liked to have been able to hit him. He was getting a body bubble that fast. By the time it took me to get past all the screens and do you want to do this and do you want to do that and do you want to relocate and shit, by the time I got there, he was in Sector 78 getting a body bubble. And I thought to myself, well, you know, now I feel you guys' pain because I'm not really a PvPer like you guys are. I would like to see that he would have to sit still for 48 hours because his bubble would pop. Although he had his alt there, though, holding him. So I'm sure he would have used himself. That's not hard to do, by the way. I mean, come on. Seriously, there's 5 platforms you can play this game on. You can literally sit with your phone on Puffin, go into War Commander on either Facebook or Facebook Game Room. And yes, they are 2 separate platforms. And then go into another one on KXL. I'm not giving anything away that everybody doesn't already know. And you can do that. You can do your game room and your KXL alt from the same computer and then play another account from your freaking phone all at the same time. If you're coordinated enough and you set your base up enough, you can do it. People wonder how people do it so quickly. That's how quickly they can do it. That's what technology has done to the game. Well, actually, it's the morals of players that have caused that to happen, but it's not that hard to do. I'm not giving away anything that people don't already know. I mean,
No, that's right.
Maybe people
Dark
might
Shadows just said something there. Jump equals no bubble for 10 or 15 minutes.
Oh, now that would be an idea.
That's another. I think
Ooh. Now that would be cool. That would be cool. Oh, I like that idea. Got to write that one down.
Yeah.
I like that idea. What do you guys think about it?
Yes, another way.
If you're
that would be like the bubble cooldown, sort of like in reverse, so to speak.
So you can't do even a 69, so you can't. I know they can still hold your.
You can't do a 69 with a friend, and you can't 69 yourself. Although I don't know why you'd want to 69 yourself. That's kind of weird. Oh, my mind just went into the other. Never mind. Let's move on. Sorry about that. Ugh. I like that. Jump, no bubble. Good one, Dark Shadows.
Yeah, so your bubble automatically pops anyway.
Yeah, because the 10 minutes would be enough time for me to get past all those stupid pop-up screens that came up in my base. I think what it was I must have been working a metal base or maybe a tech base because it was more than just your base was under attack. I was in another base when my base was under attack. So whatever it was that I won while I was doing that base, those pop-ups came up. I think it was in a Shadow Ops. That's probably what it was because I won 2 things. By the time I got past all the, yeah, I won. Yeah, I know I got the fixed wing and the shit for my gunships. Okay, quick. I want to go hit this guy. And yeah, but 10 minutes would be good. That would give me more time to get there, and then he wouldn't have been able to. Well, but then again, still somebody could hold him, though. I didn't think about that. That's a good one, Hunter. Yes, you would have to be very flexible. Yoga helps with that, though.
Is that Yogi Bear?
That's funny. Oh, that's too funny. I'm sorry. I'm not really sure how to apply City's comment to Hunter James's comment. But I'm not going to repeat that. That's awesome. Oh my goodness, that's awesome. Oh my Lord. That's a good one. Thank you, Hunter. I know you guys wanted to share boss bases, but can I kind of go off the track just for a second?
Of course you can. It's Anton's show. Go on, Tom.
No.
I know, it's like, it's Anton's show, but I'm totally taking it over. When do I ever shut up when I'm on a show? Never. It doesn't happen.
When do women shut up?
I just want to remind everybody, if you use Discord, I have posted it, and I won't go into details. I posted it in the welcome section of Discord, the rules section of Discord, and the announcement section of Discord. Some people call them channels. The board is actually like, the board is what the board is. It's not a channel. It's like a, like the old-fashioned push-pin cork board. Discord has changed their community standards and their terms of service once again. And this is actually for the benefit to all of us as players. Well, other companies, and I won't name any names, may not take a hard stance of the way people use certain services for their own twisted benefits. Discord and YouTube is continually changing their community standards and their terms of service. YouTube has most recently updated theirs in August, and I imagine there'll probably be a change for November or December to include the European Union. Discord has changed theirs as of the 17th, and it will go into effect on the 26th. And for everyone else, including the European Union, it'll go into effect on November the 2nd. Now, I'm just giving that basic information that's really generic and throwing it out there. I'm not going to go through this whole terms of service. I've posted it on the Discord. But I'd like to remind everybody something. When you log into KixEye, when you log in to play the game, there's nothing for you to check. There's no anything for you to sign. Okay, you agree to the terms of service and the rules of the game as soon as you log in. When you participate on a panel on YouTube, you agree to the terms of service, the community standards when you participate on a panel. When you participate in the YouTube side chat. Now, before, the side chat was not considered part of a live show. It now is. The side chat is subject to the same community standards and the terms of service than any of the other things that YouTube puts out. So if you say something in the side chat, or in this case, Anton, because you're the producer of Unshackled and I'm no longer a producer, but you're responsible for what is put into that side chat. And if anything should happen in any of those side chats or any of those other platforms that is offensive, harassment, or considered hate speech, or is a threat to someone, legally, you're responsible for that. And the people on the panel and the owner of the brand. The person who owns this brand is not running the show, but Anton is the executive producer. So in line with that, I would like to mention that KixEye does not own the Discord server. KixEye, Unshackled, does not own YouTube. They also do not own Google Hangouts, which is what we use to produce the shows, if I was a producer, and I'm not. So we are still subjected to those rules. KixEye does not own Discord. Discord owns Discord. So I have reposted the terms of service and the community standards for Discord. Please do take a moment to go through some of those things. Specifically, would like for people to focus on the rules of conduct and usage at any time. If you do certain things in Discord, it's not up to Kixeye. It's not up to the moderators. Any person who feels threatened, harassed, defamed, ridiculed, mocked, stalked, harassed, intimidated, or abused by anyone, all they have to do is go directly to Discord. And there is a link on here, on the link that I provided of the terms of service of where they can go to Discord. At any time, your account can be removed from the Discord server. That doesn't mean a moderator did it. It doesn't mean a Kixeye employee did it. If you say or do something that violates that terms of service and the rules of community standards, and it is reported by any player or person in that Discord to Discord, and they look it up, they will remove you. We have no say in that. We don't get a report of that. We don't know about it because Kixeye does not own Discord. Discord does.
So you would be appealing that decision would be to Discord, not to Kixeye?
Yes, and the appeal of that decision, and there is an address in that terms of service link that I've posted on the bulletin boards. There is an appeal. And also, if you report something that isn't harassment, and you do that repeatedly, that you say you're intimidated, or repeatedly you report somebody and they find out it's false, you will also lose your Discord privileges. So don't abuse it, because that's not good either. And again, if you have any alts that are related to your original Discord account, they will take them all, not just one, all of them.
A prime example was on Sid's last show. Some guy come on YouTube side chat spouting out the N-word. So I kicked his ass without warning, straight off out. And if he turns up on this side chat, I'll point him out to Anton too.
Exactly. There needs to be, we call it the wrench, obviously. I mean, those of you who have never been a moderator for a YouTube, for any kind of a live broadcast, you might not know what the wrench is, but that's what I call it, is the wrench. With a moderator, who is that person that has the wrench, has the power to do that. We may not get to it right away, but we will try to do our best. Anybody who's involved in any of the shows, whether it's City Show, Unshackled Show, or any of the other shows that are out there. Obviously, the Twitch shows, most of that information goes originally to the original person, and the community doesn't see that. I really wanted to point that out to everybody because there has been a lot of negativity that's been happening a lot in the game. I used to think that the one of the other games, Vega Conflict, was one of the most vile and vicious group of people that I had ever met as a moderator. And I take it back 110%. In the last, I'd say, probably year and a half, the War Commander community, maybe it's because I've been doing this for too long, but I don't think so. The War Commander community has superseded some of the most vicious games that I have ever moderated for. And I've moderated for other games, seek and find games, puzzle games, yes, Bubble Witch Saga kind of games, not specifically that game. But I've moderated for other games before. I've moderated their Facebook pages, their forum pages, and even some of their dev pages where people send in information or customer support tickets. And I have to tell you, in the last year and a half, especially in the last 6 to 8 months, I've not seen the kind of evil, vile, vicious attacks on other human beings like I have ever seen in my entire life.
Can you post these new standards for the upper Unshackled and that there, and the way it can go to City's page and everybody there? I think it's very, very important that people understand that you're maybe sometimes trying to bring you're shitting the messenger there. And
oh wow, that let me actually post a link. I still have the wrench. Wow, you guys still have me in as a wrench. That's awesome. That's the Discord one. I posted it. Yeah, and I understand, like Michael said, war is hell, and it is, and to an extent, if it's game related and it's trash talk, yeah, trash talk it. But if as a moderator or a KIXI employee were to step forward and to PM you, or even say it, or try not to say it in general, but even say it to you privately in a PM. The reason, number one, we're saying it to you in a PM is to try to be respectful, one human being to another human being. So try to be respectful back, even if you don't agree with that person. You know, be respectful back. I would like to ask people to find their humanity. And even if you don't agree with something that was done, be human about it. You know, don't try to
regarding chat.
Yeah.
Is there any possibility that there could be chat moderators?
It's something I'd like to propose. I can tell you what, the person who mentioned earlier about the preview server, I'd rather have chat moderators in there's only 200 sectors. When it was 400 sectors, forget it. I don't think we could ever do it. But yeah, now that there's only 200 sectors, yeah, I'd like to see KIXI take their customer support department and put an employee in every single sector. And then when something is flagged, that employee can see what happens. And I'd really like to see some meat behind it. If I call somebody a puss bone because they can't even 1-star me, that's game related. If I say something else and it has nothing to do with the game, I think that warrants being chat banned. I have been chat banned before for posting cords too many times, but
yes, and sometimes that happened to me once because I slept on my mouse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I just
you know it can happen there, but you know, I think that's a way of clearing up, and that'll be a way that people will be forced to be more respectful because they're not going to do it.
Guys, I might have to pop out in a minute, so if I disconnect, don't be shocked. It's nothing going on. I've got to pop out for a little while.
Yeah,
okay.
No, should jump back in there.
Yeah, I will do.
Jump in when you're ready if we're still on.
All right, mate. Yeah, I was just saying in YouTube chat there, because I was getting abuse, racist abuse, while I was with my partner at the time, because she was foreign. And I kicked his ass through all 200 sectors. I think he quit in the end. Give up.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, these trolls, what happens is, we've seen it too many times, is with a troll, what happens is
You have to start getting
they latch onto something and they find that they've pulled your strings as such.
Yeah.
And once they do that, you know.
There's another good one there. Sorry there, guys. There, not. Was it Matt, or sorry for your real name there, you know, I don't know your name. If memory serves me well, whenever we first started playing, you couldn't jump in a bubble. That's another way of opening yourself up, isn't it? If you jump, your bubble cracks.
Yeah, we've already been over that one with Dark Shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, say you're in a bubble, as soon as you jump, your bubble opens.
You lose your bubble.
Yes, and also you can't be bubbled for 10 or 15 minutes. You know what I mean?
Dark Shadows went over that one, yep.
Oh, right. Sorry, I missed. Sorry, Dark Shadows there. Whoops.
Planet Anton Airlines.
Finally, quick then. I really do like that idea. I really do like that idea.
I mean, because I think it's a great idea, because it would give people the opportunity to, if they can't, I mean, I don't know what would go into programming. It's great enough that War Commander is being migrated off of Flash onto an HTML5 base. And then in addition to all the other game codes that are out there, again, if you have not heard that podcast, please let me know and I'll PM it to you. There is a podcast that was done. People weren't that interested in it back then because Friendly Fixer was kind of new to the community. But there is a podcast out there where Friendly Fixer specifically talks about the migration of War Commander off of Flash to an HTML5 base platform and other forms of game code. So for those of you who are coders like me and geeks and you're into that kind of stuff, if you want a link to that podcast, I'll give it to you. And I'll even tell you where he starts talking about it. I have the time and the date stamp. It's not that far into the podcast, but he talks to it in detail. I'm not sure
maybe another thing you could post in the chat there, just for
yeah,
people there.
I mean, I'm not sure what kind of code mess it would be, because again, I'm not a game coder. It would be for us to have a revenge hit. Like, I don't know what that would be, but I think, to me, the way my mind thinks, and I could be wrong, but I think the idea like Dark Shadows has, like we were just saying, that if you were to jump for 10 or 15 minutes, you couldn't get a bubble. I think that would be easier to code. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, than a revenge hit per se. Because, you know, revenge hit means that, you know, you have to be able to, wherever you are, that you can get to that person's base. It's almost, to me, the way I thought they were proposing it would be kind of like how the raid bases are. Nobody sees raid bases on the map. You just run a raid, and then there's bases, and then you go hit them. So that's kind of how I thought that it was being proposed by Kixeye, was that if you had a revenge hit, you would just, like City said, you'd have an option to either do it or discard it. And if you did it, you'd hit revenge and you would go right to their base. I mean, obviously, unless they were being hit. And if they were being hit, there'd be a pop-up to say this player's currently under attack. You have to wait or whatever, so you wouldn't lose it. But maybe that's harder to code. I don't know. It was a great idea. Everybody in the focus group loved it. And I can tell you, I know every single person who was in that last focus group. And these people aren't, you know,
No, they're no amateurs either. They're
no,
very
these were
knowledgeable
not
in the
amateur
game.
players. There were a lot of, as a matter of fact, I think the majority of the people there in the group were PvPers. I know personally as PvPers. So they love the idea. With the, like I said, with the exception of one person, because that one person also was thinking, well, you know, what if this happens or what if that happens? So there was a little bit of not liking it, I think, more so because they didn't understand exactly the mechanics of it all. I don't think they didn't like the idea. I just think that they...
Kixeye could incorporate this as a... maybe the calendar doesn't work, but before the week of Christmas time, or even over Christmas time, you know what I mean? You give us a Christmas present.
Yeah. I think
a bit of fun there, not there, a bit of loyalty or something like that, or, you know what I mean, a weekend just where it's...
Yeah. I mean, to me, even Dark Shadows idea of the no bubble for 10 minutes is kind of a version of what we have for Warpath, because the bubbles are only 4 hours. Whether you do a 1-star or 3-star, the bubble is 4 hours.
But
so
Kitty Wright just said their revenge hit would be a problem in terms of what tunes could be used. That's
true. That was one of the things that came up in the focus group was, well, how many, and there were a lot of questions, and I'm not saying Kixeye didn't have the answers. I'm saying they were saying, well, yes, that would be something that they would have to work on. So again, I think that might be something a little bit harder to code. Like, could you take one tune? Could you take 2 tunes? And how would you select that tune for your revenge hit? Would you have to launch it onto the base? You know, would it be a PvP tune where you would get 50% repair or 75%?
Well, I think it would be fair. You know, I know you're going to probably load up that, but you couldn't bring 6 tunes because that would be.
No,
but,
exactly.
You know, the way you have a raiding party, you know that, and your platoons.
Couldn't they make another tab?
Make another tab and have that as a revenge. Have 2 tabs.
A revenge tab.
And have 2 tabs there, and 1 for air. I think that would be.
Switch, you're not talking much. Apart from Bonsai.
I think it would be fair that way. You know, your raiding parties open up another tab, a revenge tab. Put your tunes in there, and they would be PvP as well, I think.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, like you said, a revenge tab, and then you would maybe have, I mean, I don't know. I would be willing, just for the revenge, even if I couldn't bubble that person, that I would, just to take 1 tune. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but I would really be willing to do that, just for the principle of it. I mean, maybe
maybe to be fair to start, because you think my base tune might be fully healed and I might be in a bubble.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to destroy my tunes as well.
Yeah, that was something that was brought up in the focus group, is that what if, in legitimate PvP, let's not talk about the 69ers, okay? In legitimate PvP, for instance, and I'll say his name, Mofo Joe, challenged me to a 1v1 in his sector. And we did have a legitimate 1v1. He told everybody in his sector to stand down. So he came to my base and, of course, demolished me. And then I went to his base and I lost my ass and then some. And I think I barely got him for a 1-star. it was so horrible that yes, he baited me and I chased his tunes around, and that's exactly what I shouldn't have done. And I used all my air to the point where Kixeye wouldn't let me deploy any more air. So that was really frustrating. That was a very
all been
expensive
there
hit.
doing that. We've all
Right,
been there.
Exactly, but that's legitimate. Now, if I had done that, not a 1v1 like an honor, I hit him, he hits me and he loses his butt, and let's just say I hit him and he wants to come hit me back, and my base is completely smashed, and so is my tune. I get that was brought up in the focus group. That would be like a disadvantage, because what if they got hit again by somebody legitimately? And I do get their point. I can see where that would frustrate people. If you were in a legitimate war, let's just say we were all enemies and you came to my sector and then I hit you and then you deliberately popped your bubble, and so you can be hit for 10 minutes. Your base is destroyed, your tunes are destroyed, and then I come hit you again because I have a revenge hit. 12 hours later, you're in another sector, and 10 hours into it, I come and hit you again, and you've been in war in another sector. It's kind of not fair to you.
What Hunter Hamish said about a logistics pack, that maybe one of the logistics would be repair base tune logistic.
Wouldn't that be too bad?
I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that, because that's the one, to me, that's the one. Well, first of all, they took away from us that we could put a whole bunch of tunes in our base tune to repair. So they took that away from us months ago. That might have even been at least a year ago.
Be fair that you'd have maybe
that's the one
there.
place. Yep, that's the one place I think Kixeye hasn't touched on. I mean, we have
cover maybe revenge that you could use that.
That's an idea. I'm writing that one down too. Thank you, Hunter. That's a good one. Logistics for that.
Can we have Switch, I would say? Because he ain't said anything apart from bonsai.
Bonsai.
Bullseye.
Switch. While we were talking there, can you do one of the boss bases, Kenny, or what? Maybe you're busy, are you?
I think he's just been doing one. I'm not sure.
I saw him doing one, but I couldn't tell which one it was. I'll be honest with you, the boss bases.
YouTube, so.
What I think is the 69ing, it's gonna be hard to get around that. But what I think is when a player hits a base and does not finish out the job, 3-star or 2-star or 1-star, then you should go back to your base. It's the only way you can prevent that 69ing, I think.
And I promised Mr. B was going to he wanted some more of it, so I'm maybe going to screen share it at 95 here, if that's okay, guys.
Say, Anton, can you do me a favor?
Jump on the panel. Let's get his views.
Yeah, Anton, can you do me a favor real quick?
Yes.
Can you go into the control panel and again, because I'm not a producer anymore, can you boost Switch's mic just a little bit?
Yeah, everybody boosted there now, so I have.
Can you hear me now?
Oh wow, yes, a lot.
It's sitting on my ear, look.
No, what I say is the 69ing is gonna be hard to go around. What I think is that if a player goes to a base and do not finish the job, like 3-star, 2-star, 1-star, that player should go back to his base after the attack.
So the platoon returns.
Yeah.
So the platoon returns. Oh, that's an interesting idea too. Daggone, these are great ideas. I need a bigger notepad.
Basically, it'll be a one-hit base.
Yeah.
You get one hit.
Yeah, but you can take a unit out again and go for the same base after, but you have to travel. And if you travel, that means that the player that is hit...
I see what you mean now, yeah. Yeah.
Yes, very good.
Well, 69 in they thingy though. Make sure they get the 1-star, don't they?
Am I screen sharing just for everybody?
I'm looking. Hang on, let me see if YouTube caught up.
It is.
Oh, now you are.
That's okay. I'll just
switch. Oh, hang on. We had to switch a minute ago then.
Yeah, it's going back and forth between our voices now on YouTube. Sorry, guys. Give us a second.
Present your all, Anton.
Yeah, you have to present yourself. And don't forget about the side chat.
Present everyone. There we go.
There we go. Let's see if
So
it'll
there.
catch up.
I'm just gonna go and grab a beer.
I think you should.
I gotta replace Siddy now, ain't I?
Yep. And I would like to say to Max, you're exactly right. I know the PvP, a lot of people have expressed that fix one thing and then they break another, and that's kind of true. That's why I think I was glad that Kixeye responded to the literally the outpouring of frustration, I'll say is the word. I won't say rage. And they canceled the idea to implement the 3 hits for 7 days. I know they're trying. I give them kudos or props, however, whatever you want to call them, for at least trying, because there's so many people that are upset about the 69ing issue. I just think us as players, because we are the people who are PvPing, remember, they go to work every day to create a game, not necessary to play the game. I think they probably look forward to Warpath because they can actually play and participate. They go to work and get paid to do a job, which is create the game or fix the bugs in the game or whatever their job assignment is, create the artwork, create the AI, test the units, whatever it is. They don't really get to play as much as we do. So when something like that comes out and an idea comes out, it is, as you can see, especially Discord and forums, literally blew up when they announced it. And I'm so glad they didn't implement it right away. At least they announced it and people said, no effing way. And then they decided, okay, we've decided not to implement this and we're going to take another look at it. Yes, they do. I would like to see them do more polls, Max, is to actually put polls out, like official polls. Or I'd really like to see them do, I know you guys didn't really like the Bernie briefings that much, and I think it's probably because Bernie was so new to the community. A lot of the guys at Kixeye have been with the company for 5, 6, 7 years or more. And Bernie is new to the company. By the way, this is his 1-year anniversary with the company. So if you get a chance to drop him a positive line, please do send him a PM on Discord or KXL and wish him a happy anniversary with the company, because this is his 1-year anniversary with the company. This event that's coming up, by the way. I would like to see them do some more podcasts, you know, to maybe share some of that information with us, or maybe to do a podcast and show something new. If they can't do a preview server, they have to have a testing server of some sort. That's why they have a testing department. Maybe they could do a podcast, and on the podcast they could show some new stuff, and then we could give feedback on the podcast through some kind of a survey. I'm open to any ideas other than them just giving us something and say, here you go, whether you like it or not. I'm not saying that's what they do now, but I'm saying I'm open to any kind of suggestions. If you guys have any other kinds of suggestions, please do mention that.
You are into coding, right?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, sir. Not game code, though.
Yeah. I will. If you code in the game that the IP that your main have, because what I see is many players are using their mini accounts to guard their base. Can you code it?
That is true, and it sounds like a great grand idea. And if honestly, if Kixeye was probably, I'm just saying, I'm speculating again as a coder, and because I have family members who work in other branches of the government, if Kixeye was a smaller company, I think it would be easier to do. But just like the people who harass people in game, they use IP maskers. You can, through your phone company, especially since you can play the game through Puffin now, which is sometimes a good thing, but also is kind of a curse. Every time you use and open your Puffin browser, your phone provider will create a new IP address for you. So, and then there's also the people you can go to. Well, here in the United States, we'll call it like a Radio Shack or Best Buy, but any kind of electronics store you can go to, and you can buy an IP masker or an IP rerouter. And then if you play from a cyber cafe, most of the time, especially libraries, universities, and most public Wi-Fi or cyber cafes, they on purpose do that, and they reroute and reroute and reroute. So you would never really be able to get to the exact person.
But you log in with your email address, isn't that right?
Yep. For some of the email addresses, yes. I believe Puffin. I don't use Puffin, so somebody will have to. I used to use it, and I don't use it anymore. Somebody will have to fill me in on that one. Don't you have to have a dedicated email address for Puffin as well?
I'm not sure.
When you log on, you log in as your the player that owns that account.
Okay, so you do use your email address?
You have to use your email address.
Okay, okay. That's why I said it's been such a long time since I've used it. But there's people who use Chrome addresses and Juno, because yes, Juno still exists. Juno and Hotmail addresses, and then they reroute those through IP maskers. And I know it sounds like there should be a way that they can get around it. No, there isn't. It really is a web of deception. If somebody wants to use it to not be found, they can use it not be found. And I just don't think this is just my professional opinion. I think because the game is so big, Kixeye just doesn't have the resources to go after people one IP address at a time.
Don't forget about people who live in the same.
But can they not? Can they not code it in the program? So,
well, they used to have back in the day, and I wasn't a moderator then, but I know some people who were affected by it in Battle Pirates. Again, I wasn't a moderator, so I'm speaking strictly as a player on this one. And I was proactive and sent a message to customer support. I met Jim playing Battle Pirates. He lived in another state. I lived in another state. We ended up meeting in the middle, and now we live in the same state. But I met him playing a game. Yes, some people may call me sad for that. Oh well, get over it. I know a lot of people who met playing Kixeye games, and they have very successful marriages. Mine is very successful. I was proactive because there were people that were getting banned because the same family members, when Kixeye did have, there was some kind of an electronic detection or something I don't know. I wasn't a moderator then. I wasn't involved with the company then, but there were a lot of people that were getting banned because they were in the same household, husbands and wives that were playing, dads and kids that were playing, and vice versa. Also playing some of the same game, playing different games at Kixeye. So they got banned, and they shouldn't have been, because I guess it was like a bot. I don't know. I'm just speculating. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was a program, if it was a bot, but it picked up people that were from the same household, and it automatically banned everybody in that household. So that's not really cool either. What if you're college friends or something, and all three of you play War Commander, and you guys are all playing from the same router and the same hub and the same address, but you're not related? I mean, I kind of get where that could be like not a good thing.
Skip, just a quick, I don't know if it'll be a workaround. What if everybody was given a code? So, like, say, like you were just saying, say, there's a couple that play off the same router and that, so it'd be the same IP address. So mine would be, say, 1008, then my partner would be, I don't know, 1123 or something before you log in. So they'd know it was that person.
That's true. Didn't think about that. But then again, well,
you can give that code to anybody then.
Yeah, but you could give that code to anybody. Yeah. I mean, I see it. I mean, the
accounts would then get banned.
That's true.
So that's tough. You shouldn't have given that code out.
You use your phone as a secondary protocol.
That's true, but you could use your phone as a secondary protocol. Yeah, that's an idea though, because that's what we use to keep our stuff secure. That's an
There's a whole lot of shit people have to go through just to.
Some of the abuse in the game.
Yeah, I agree. And to be honest with you, I mean, like I said, Jim and I have been admins for other games. I'll mention two of them. Rooms of Memory is one, which is a seek and find. Pearl's Peril is another, is a seek and find. Plus you build things. It's kind of like a Farmville meets a seek and find kind of a thing. and there's people, he plays Criminal Case. There's a lot of different games that he plays because they're stimulating for your mind, but they're also good for your brain. Especially if you have certain conditions or you take certain kinds of medication, it helps keep your brain stimulated. But there's people who, there's Facebook pages dedicated on how to cheat tic-tac-toe games and Scrabble games, for crying out loud. I mean, it's kind of, it's just a matter of morals. I think Kickside could put a lot of things into place and somebody would find a way around it. I mean, no matter what we put into place, somebody would find a way to manipulate it. And I said it on the last show, I'll say it again. The guys and gals, there are a lot of women that work at Kickside too. They're not secretaries either. The guys and gals at Kickside, none of them sit around saying, hey, let's create this, and I wonder how people would manipulate it. Sometimes I wish they would, kind of like the movie Catch Me If You Can. I don't know if you guys remember that one. With Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks. Yeah, where you end up hiring the guy and you have him come work for you. Sometimes I wish they would.
You need to catch it. There you go, guys. That was a 95 there down there. So 18 minutes on the air, basically.
How much?
18 minutes.
Wow. How many did you have? I didn't count how many.
6 envoys, 4 minutes on the envoys, bring it there, and then the
Kickside, I employ a ex-hacker.
And that was done with Jericho there mainly.
I've made the suggestion in jest. Why don't you hire a hacker?
Yeah, he could patch me all up.
Yeah, I was going to say, or even a current one. And I don't mean to be ignorant, but even a current one that you let play because they spend money.
Thank you much.
Ignorant here. Just go to that person and say, hey, how would you manipulate this? I know that sounds crazy, but honestly.
Skip, another question for you there. And I sort of see this question earlier on there. Any news about the event?
Well, make sure you get all of your fire tech for all of your units. I'm pretty for sure that, and this is an all-faction event, I'm not exactly for sure, I believe, okay, this is kind of like a teaser, but I'm pretty for sure this was already out on Discord, and if it's not, and I get my hand slapped for it later, oh well, the event's next week. I'm pretty for sure that it's an all-faction event, plus there will also be a zombie wave, in addition to the faction waves.
Is that a defense wave or an attack wave?
That's a good question. I don't have that. I was just told that it was a zombie wave, so I'm not really sure what that means. And again, 2 years ago, I completely missed the zombie event. And last year, I only got to play like maybe 2 days of it. So I'm sure that if there was a zombie wave the last time, you guys would understand what they mean. So I know most of this was shared on Discord. All of the faction heroes, recent heroes, are, as far as I know, slated to be on the event store, in addition to, I believe, almost every hero that's ever been introduced into the game that would be relevant. And most of their techs. So
Jericho, please, everybody.
Yes, I do not think, this is my personal opinion as a player and also semi as a moderator. This is not inside information. This is just me as a player. I don't think we will ever see HH2 targeting ever come back to the game. I said ever. Now, I didn't use the N word and say never. I said ever. Because I don't think that one's ever going to come back to the game. Every time we've ever asked for it, we've gotten everything for Jericho except HH2. But it is my belief that this is one of the biggest event prize lists that I have ever seen in the game. And I've seen some big ones, if that's what she said.
The HH2 has been out a couple of times in games.
It has been, but and that one does make Jericho absolutely vicious. For those of you, public service announcement, for those of you who have Jericho, but you don't have HH2 targeting, and you wonder why you watch a video, and my Jericho outranges a turret and yours doesn't, it's because of the HH2 targeting.
It was out in the beginning of the year as well, so if you didn't get it, more for you.
Yes, exactly. Max said it. He goes, I got in
Yes, it was in a pack. Yes.
In a pack, in a gold pack. Yeah. So
it was worth whatever money. I don't know what was that. 140.
It was worth it. It was totally. There was a player who PM'd me. They had everything on there except for the HH2, and I think it was 99 gold. It might have been 129 gold. I told him the tech alone was worth it. He had everything else but that tech. I said yes. It's totally worth it. Spend the money. If you coin, it's totally worth it. And he has told me since that he's never regretted spending that coin. He uses his Jericho all the time.
Jericho's still the best unit, bar none, in the event.
Yep, I think it's one of the best ones ever.
All round.
That one and Dina. I mean, obviously you have to take care of some business before you use your Dina, but I think she also is one of the most utilized long-running heroes. I love my Nyx. I hate taking forever to do the daggone Nyx bases to get one token at a time. I put in my personal wish list. Occasionally, Bernie will ask us as moderators, what would you like to see in the event store? I asked them if they were going to make all the heroes available to please make all the tokens available. I will grind an event for 7 days so I don't have to do the stupid token 155 bases for one token at a time.
I wonder once we should be able to stack HH2 so we'll get 2,100 range.
Hunter, I want you to send that message to Storm Chaser on Discord, and I want you to cut and paste his answer.
Sure. Yes, do it now, and we'll screen share it, so we will.
Yes, you have to send that to Storm Chaser, and I
that's going to be the case. We're going to need a 50-inch monitor for all these huge bases that Kicks are going to give us.
I know it. I know
Anton, can you screen share Zachary?
Can you screen share yourself? You don't screen share, do you?
Oh,
no, Zachary is doing a 70 base with.
Oh, there you go. Right, I'll present to everybody.
Didn't see him jump in.
There you go. And that's another player wanting to use all. This is Special Forces, Commandos, Leads, Observers there as well. There.
Yep, YouTube's caught up.
Yep, now it's caught up. Yeah, Zach, what do you got in there? Okay, say Caretaker, Darkstorm. I'm trying to see.
Take it as some shock on these guys, I would say as well. Yeah.
Yep. And for those of you who are newbies, always try to remember to put your Caretaker on a fist. Those of you who are new to just getting the Caretaker, I've got some people in my sector that are returning to the game. They're just now getting their Caretakers, and they're upset because the Caretaker runs away. So we kind of take that for granted, but remember to put your Caretaker on fist so he doesn't run away. Or she.
Mine does. She goes off to bash the bishop.
I know. I'm having a hard time keeping my bishop. I want my bishop to slow down. I want a tech to slow that sucker down.
Take the tech off it, Skip.
He goes too fast.
After a
take the tech off it for the speed. Just some two tech. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but after level 18, speeds up as well.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, some people want it for different things. I have to admit, I only have 2 bishops, so you know, I'll be a wiener about it. I have one for PvE and I have one for in my base. So you're right. I really haven't been giving my bishop a lot of love.
And this is Nimbus or is Envoys? Envoys.
I've given up on my bishop.
I just have so much to do.
That's to level 20 if it's right what I hear about it. It's going to get a new trait.
Yes, its aura is larger.
No, there's going to be a new one as well.
Oh, a new trait once it's 20.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see the fire tech on Romero. I mean, I think that's going to be absolutely freaking vicious, whatever it is. And I think it's funny that they're called FU rounds. It's absolutely hilarious.
I am going to say it live. I can't remember who told me, but apparently level 20 bishop it's going to get a new trait, and it's going to affect your Darkstorm.
Interesting.
It's going to affect the Darkstorm's aura.
I had heard something similar, but I won't speak any further on that.
Well,
Right, and also that.
told me that.
Now, are we getting a new fixed wing unit this event? Is that correct? They were talking about it there. It was in Discord now. It wasn't confirmed, but they were talking about it. So I would say for the event, just have your aircraft slot free, you know, for upgrades.
Oh, Yaz says, what base is this again?
Set the Shadow Up 70.
Yeah, this is the Shadow Ops 70. Sorry, Yaz. Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody posted. I feel like an idiot. All right, well, Shadow Ops 70. I'm sorry. Some of the guys don't even know because they've changed the names of the bases again, which is, I like that they've done that. Storm Chaser did ask me the other day how I felt about it, about the fact that they put a better name on the bases, and I do like them better. I did make a mistake though, like a noob. Went to go do my Shadow Ops, not this week's Shadow Ops to get my Romero, but I waited to the last minute. I had 12 hours to do my Shadow Ops, okay? So I went to do them, and I was doing them so fast, and it was like 2 o'clock in the morning that I went to a Shadow Ops 2 base instead of a Shadow Ops 3, because for me, for some reason, I was thinking, oh, 45, 70, 95, so the 2 must be the 70. Because, you know, wasn't even thinking. And I went to the 2 and I was like, well, that didn't give me very many points. And I was like, this base is too easy. I was like, oh, this is the 45. It had been so long since I'd done a 45, I didn't even realize it. So, yeah, I had to do 270s after that.
So, any idea? Are we getting a new fixed wing plane in the event? We have heard we're supposed to be getting a new one.
It was requested. I believe there was some talk on that on Discord. I don't have Discord open. I can't be on the show and look at the YouTube and not lag out my Discord.
Well, if you don't know, you don't know.
I should look up on the I know Storm Chaser talked about it.
Yes, he did, and that's where we're getting it from. It's not anything behind the scenes as such. It was him that was looking at.
Again, another public service announcement. If you guys aren't on Discord, definitely get on Discord. It's so much easier to search Discord for something that somebody says. You just go up into the top right-hand corner of Discord. Well, depending on how your Discord is set up. But there's like a little bell. There's a push pin, and then there's a members list. And then right next to it, it says search. If you just type in there any one of the Kixeye officials' names, and you click on it, it'll tell you everything that person has said. And what it does is it highlights it. And if you look at the comment and you're like, I'm not really sure what this means, you can click to the jump section and it will jump you back so you can see the context of the conversation. And you could do that for any one of them. You could do it for Golden Doodle, Friendly Fixer, and it's not just in the general room. It's in any room. If somebody brings up a suggestion, it's in there. If somebody brings up a bug fix or a bug issue in game, and they say, yes, it's a known issue, we will have that fixed by the end of the day today, or we will have that fixed by next week, or this proved to be more complicated, it'll take till the next maintenance until we can get it fixed. All that information is right there for you. So all you have to do is pick one of those Kixeye team members and do a search. And the information is right there. And I can tell you that Kix Storm Chaser, obviously, and Friendly Fixer, and his light's not on very often, but that doesn't mean that he's not watching Discord, and it also doesn't mean he's not talking or he's not answering questions, because he is. I mean, Friendly Fixer is the lead engineer of the game. So yes, he does come in and answer questions. He doesn't turn his light on. He just comes in and he just answers the question. So if you want to see any of that information, jump in there. If you want to see information about offers, marketing, gold sales, gold packages, that's Kix Gravity Blast. That is like, I'm not saying that's all the man does, because he does a lot more, but that is like, he's the man.
Look at the howler. You can't turn about the howler there.
Oh.
Very good.
That is
Wow, look at that. Oh, I never thought about it. That is actually kind of kick-ass. Excuse my language.
For the lower levels, search up this guy on YouTube and look at his videos.
Yeah, so it's all really old school, you know, the units that we've probably scrapped, you know what I mean? Or maybe I've only 2 or 3 in our armory.
I've scrapped all these units.
I still have a few left there.
I've got one Owler with shock on still, but I never use it. It's my sort of trophy.
We never did get the hero howler. Very good.
Oh, that's an idea. Hero for the Owlers.
Yeah. What do you think about that? That's right. We don't have a hero for howlers. I know people have been asking for the hero for the technicals and also the diamond tech for technicals. And I did see Storm Chaser make some comments about that this past week, and they were quite interesting.
We're getting the hero for the technicals next event, aren't we?
Yeah.
Who is the technical hero?
Kyle.
Oh, it is Kyle. That's right. Shoot, I keep forgetting that. Oh, it's shame on me. Sorry, Kyle at Kickseye. Totally forgot that was your hero.
You notice this, you know, whenever something has got corrosion on it there, it gains more damage.
Yep.
So that's why there's corrosion on some of the special forces there.
Yep, I can tell you one thing. I wish our fire on our units lasted as long as Kickseye's fire lasted in their bases. Oh, my goodness.
That's what the sort of thing I was hoping. You know, the profit fire tech.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was hoping for, but it didn't.
So for what?
It was going to leave pools of fire all over the place.
Yes, like a big jet of fire that anyone ran through it there.
Yeah.
This base is game over.
Can you screen share? Can you screen share me?
Yes. What are you doing, Switch?
I'm doing 72. If that is okay.
Yeah.
I use it with Jericho and Romero.
Oh yes, right. What level's your Romero?
12, I think.
Well, so it's elite.
Yes.
If I'm not DCing.
It's hard. There's sometimes hangouts there.
Come on. Oh.
I think I saw that video, and I was absolutely blown away by that. So yeah, I'd like to see it live. That would be really interesting.
There you are. Full screen.
Catch up.
Chat's not working there. Tricks are there, so.
Skip side chat.
Yeah, it's coming up on the screen there, so just watch out there.
Yep.
Yes, dear.
So what base is this?
This is
Drinking as we speak. Yeah, I definitely am. I didn't get 1 can, I got 2.
It's coming up on the screen, guys. If you just PM each other, it's coming up in this.
Yeah. Will do. Let me just get on that.
Thanks, Trickster. Closing side chat.
Yep.
Oh, look at that there. Oh. He is a bad little boy.
Romero is great.
It's splash damage he does, you know. In your base, don't have any floaters.
Yeah. Target the floaters with him because he just destroys all. Come on, not like me. Oh.
Nope.
I put in Jericho. It's just a little laggy right now, but see if I can do this.
Yeah,
With
for the aircraft there.
I think it's awesome just to see Romero in action. I'm still.
Do you think for a Shadow Ops prize or unit it was worth the grind?
Yeah.
Yeah, damn right. And all my coin. I have spent so much gold. Thanks to Scooby. I hope we see that guy back.
Yeah.
He's still playing.
He says he's quit, but
Psst.
yeah.
Look, I'll say it publicly. Number one, if I had 50 cents for every time he unfriended me, I'd have as much gold as he has ever spent in the game. If I had $1 for every time he said he quit the game, I'd have more money than him. And I say that lovingly.
I'm kidding.
Jeez, guys,
And kiddingly, he's a very smart, intelligent man. He just also happens to be, and yes, I'm going to speak from my heart. He just also happens to be a very kind, loving soul. And occasionally there are just some things that just become too much for one human being, and he just has to take a step back. And that's nothing like foo-foo or fancy, or that I'm making him out to be some kind of pussy or something. Excuse my language, but I'm going to say it. It's just, there's only so much a human being can take. Sometimes you just need to take a break. And I encourage anybody that feels that way to do so, if that's what they need to do. Do what makes you happy. We only get one go round on this rock. You have one lifetime. Make good use of it. Definitely don't sit somewhere and let someone talk to you like crap and then wonder why you can't do anything about it. Because you can't. You can't change someone else being an asshat. Or I want to say other words and I won't because I don't want to get the show pulled. But just don't. Take a break if you need to. Go do something else. Go boink somebody, do the horizontal mambo, whatever it is that you like to do. Tickle toes, wiggle winkles, bump uglies, whatever it is that you want to do. Take a break. Do that for a couple of weeks, then come back to the game. You'll have a whole new perspective.
I've been in Angats with Scooby, and he is the nicest guy I have ever met. And some of the shit that's been pulled on him just disgusts me.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's kind of like a shame. Is that somebody who enjoys the game so much. There's so many things that happened, in his life, on again, off again, personally, that War Commander and his friends were there for him. I mean, I've never met the guy in person. I'd like to. Will I ever be able to afford to fly there? Probably not. But I'm sure he would allow me to at least have lunch with him or dinner with him. If he would ever fly here to the States, we have a spare room. Our door would always be open to him. I mean, that's how I feel about someone like that. Some people are game friends, some people are game acquaintances, and some people become like family. He's just one of those kinds of people that sometimes playing the game is what keeps us sane, or keeps us busy, or keeps us from losing ourselves in other things in real life. We don't like our jobs. We're in a terrible marriage. We're in a terrible other kind of relationship. You don't like your family. You're outside working all the time, and you just want to come in and have some fun with your friends, blow up a couple bases and go to bed, drink a couple beers and have some fun. Nobody wants to we get enough abuse in real life.
It
You know,
makes
the
me
road
wonder-
rage that's out there. Yeah, nobody wants to come in the game and be treated like crap.
It makes me wonder, do people forget there is a real person behind these screens?
Yeah.
So abuse is abuse. I think I read somewhere in the UK, somebody was doing online abuse and they did get arrested for it. And yes, they did go to prison.
So
It still counts as abuse.
Hunter has posted on Discord.
I can't wait to see that answer. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. Storm Chaser is one of the most
Hopefully, Storm Chaser just before he
when it comes to certain things in game.
hopefully sitting down whenever he reads this.
No, I mean,
Because-
honestly, I think something like that was said once in Discord, and I don't know, he said something about HH2 targeting, like something about that the Jericho should never outrange any turret, kickside turret, is what he said. I said, design your bases better. I mean, it's the truth. It's like, if you don't like the fact that Jericho's so good, design your bases better. I hope he doesn't take me up on that challenge and make Jericho obsolete. But it was kind of cute to say it, you know, just in jest. God, look at that guy run. What's on the Romero? Like, that you already have? Everything? Well, when you're done,
It's
God
not
bless.
just that he can only have one tech. Isn't that correct?
Look at him go.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for mine to build. No, I'm not going to coin it. I'm going to wait the 5 days. All right. After watching this, maybe I'll coin some of it. I mean, just look at him go. That's so awesome. I was afraid that when we got him, he wouldn't be as cool as he was in the Romero bases, but he's actually pretty cool. And I don't remember who the player was in Discord, but whoever you were, I can't remember, but you know who you were. Whoever it was that said they thought that Romero was OP'd and that he needed to be nerfed, I'm shaking my finger at you. No.
Hold on.
Are you crazy? Nerf Romero?
First of all, he just can't. But they said he was too OP'd. I think he said
You have to leave that attack there.
Oh, that was awesome.
But don't they
Leave
think
first, yeah.
when they get him to level 20 that he's going to be so badass for them?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool tech as well.
I coined it up to elite, so... And we even had a race, I think it was on Sid's show. Because we were going to...
look, getting the gold tech. Oh, it's driving me nuts.
Because we were going to...
Listen to him laughing. Bullseye.
we were going to showboat it on Unshackled, but...
Nicely done there.
So there was me, Switch, and Scooby.
See you for a bit.
And we had a great show.
Yeah.
Because everybody tuned in to watch Romero die.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it was. That's right, because we tuned in to see how fast Romero died. But even in the bases, he just looks so vicious. Like, some guy told me with his, I can't remember who it was. It was a guy on Discord PM'd me, and he was telling me what sector he was in, and they were calling him a cheater. So he gave me his ID in case somebody reported him to me, because sometimes they do that. No, I can't get you banned. No, I don't report unless I see it myself as a player. But he says in case they do, he was using his Darkstorm, Romero. He was suiciding a lot of people do this, his Omega Phantom, his Siege Quadrant, and I can't remember what else he was using. I think his gunships or something. And he was just going from base to base to base like that with the Darkstorm damaged. And the only thing he was coining was his Phantom.
Yep.
And he was going from base to base to base, even with his Romero damaged and his Darkstorm damaged. And he was going from base to base to base. I think he was a level 47. And I was like, are you kidding me? He's like, no, I'll get it on video if you want. He sent me 2 videos. I couldn't believe it. I mean, granted, by then his Romero was down to like a nick of life, and so was his Darkstorm.
But do people know Phantom in PvP is only 2 coin?
Yeah, it's really cheap to coin, especially if you're PvPing. That's, yeah, exactly.
That's
Unless
why
you,
Max Tech Center there.
yeah, unless you make unless you make the noob mistake and you forget to put some of your air in your PvP tune and you use it as regular, and then you kick yourself, and then you end up being the leader of your alliance because you made the noob mistake of the day.
All my PvP air tune cost me 14 gold in total. And
That's not bad.
I'm getting it.
There's a question from Sam
Oh,
Stone.
yeah. If
Talking about tech for Romero, you know the C4, that part of it there. So if it was to be changed with some tech,
what would you change it to?
Change the C4. Take the C4 away and keep it to rockets. And our favourite person is it in me, whether he still is, because it's been that long since I've been on the game. I've got to reload, he's probably finished. I'll shout him out. Thanks to it for the bubble.
Thanks for the bubble. Did you just recently get one?
Well, I just put my game up, but it says reconnect because I've not been in there for a while.
Oh, okay.
And I've seen Stuart's picture attacking me.
Oh. Oh, he was. Oh, Stuart?
Yeah.
He's in the side chat, or he was. I saw him a few minutes ago in the YouTube side chat.
He must be out.
Scrolling.
I'll miss it.
Yeah, I had no. Oh well, I'm not gonna say what he said because that would be naming and shaming. But yeah, that's actually kind of funny though what he said.
Yeah, he did.
He did. he got me. He got me the other day. Took me up on my challenge when I said, "Come find me." I'm in 161. I don't make a secret of it. By the way, yes, you can hide your sector on KXL, but there is a way for people to find out what sector you're on, also by the leaderboard too, by the way, in case you guys forget that. I'm in 161. It's no secret. If you have even rudimentary KXL skills, you can see what sector I'm in. If I jump out of 161, you can see where I jump to. I'm on the eastern wall, and I said, good luck not finding me in a bubble. Well, Stuart took that challenge on, and I was in a bubble, but he went and hit every other tune that I forgot to put away before I went to bed. So kudos to that for catching me on a lazy day and killing all my Liberator tunes that I had out, Rue being Vercraft 50s.
Right, so he lost his Amiga Siege, 30 Breachers, 4 Gunships, 27 Sharpshooters, 1 Amiga Phantom, 24 Amiga Ravengers.
Wow. Awesome.
For 130 infamy.
Good job.
Nice. Your repair's longer than mine, mate. Enjoy.
Well, that's it. So,
damn, I wish I'd caught him live. I would have screen shared it.
I was gonna say that was pretty cool. That was awesome when Anonymous stepped up and stepped up to the plate, and we did the live PvP earlier this week.
Yeah, that was good doing that there.
Yep, I watched that.
I miss some of those. We should plan one of those one of these days. Is plan obviously we have the event next week, so that won't be, but maybe sometime after the event's over, plan a rid run somewhere. That would be fun to do something like that on a Saturday night. I miss those shows. So just pick a random sector, and if the random sector generator picks sector 161, don't say no, we can't go there because it skips sector. Just give me a heads up that you're coming so I can post it to the page. Hit the sector. I don't care. It's a war game. Go have fun.
So Stuart's calling me a liar. He only lost gunships and sharpshooters.
Oh, breachers and ravs. Oh, ravishers, sharpshooters are all free. Oh, because they dropped from his gunships. I gotcha. Yeah. That's true. I didn't think about that.
Seed Squadron, Phantom. You lost that. Gunships, you lost them. Amiga Siege, you lost that.
Uh-oh.
Stop lying.
Uh-oh. Screen share the battle log.
Want me to?
Ask Stuart first. I was going to say, if it were me, I would say go ahead and show it.
It's all right there. It's got enough for one night. So is anyone out there in YouTube land, or have we covered everything that we wanted to cover?
I don't know. Is there anything else that everybody wanted to ask? I think we covered everything. Went over the Discord terms of service. So if you use Discord, please check either the announcements section, the rules section, or the welcome section. The link is there. Pay, like I said, pay particular attention to, I mean, everything that's in there, by the way, because it does talk about your account and the rights to use the service. And it also talks about your rights as a user, but specifically look at the communication section, the intellectual property rights, and whether or not you can or cannot share information that doesn't belong to you. And you definitely want to specifically pay attention to the rules of conduct and usage. It's very explicit about what Discord can do, and it doesn't have anything to do with Kixeye or the moderators. Discord owns Discord, just like Google owns Google, and thereby also owns YouTube, which is how we produce shows when we put out live shows. So just because Shadow Killer owns Unshackled, Shadow Killer has 5 rules. I won't say what they are. The producers know what they are. He has 5 simple rules. But YouTube and Google has this really big long, it's like 3 pages long, list of rules. So Shadow Killer can say or do whatever he wants with his channel, but if he violates any of those things, or someone on his panel does, he's ultimately responsible, and so are the panel members that are on there. So again, I know I keep bringing that up, but there is this misconception that Kixeye owns the War Commander Discord, and they do not. Discord is owned by Discord. So if you do something that, especially in PMs, I've seen some really horrific PMs recently. If you think that that's private, you're wrong. If you think that what you say to someone or what you send to someone on Discord or KXL or Facebook is private, you're wrong. We may call it a PM as in private message, but it's not private. The people who own Facebook, the people who own YouTube, the people who own Discord, Kixeye owns KXL. If you say something in a private message, I promise you it's not private. If you threaten someone, or you say something to someone, or you send them something that is totally inappropriate, not only are you going to lose your privileges to use that service, depending on where you live, you could be sued. And the people will win. You won't. And guess what? If you do it and you're in another state and they sue you in their state, you have to hire somebody and you have to go to their state to represent yourself and defend yourself. So please do take the time to read the terms of service for Discord, read the terms of service and community standards for YouTube. Those were most recently updated in August. I imagine they're probably going to be updated again in December. And definitely go to the terms of service for Kixeye and read the terms of service, and also go to forums or go to Discord and read the rules of forums, which also apply to the YouTube channel for Kixeye, all the Facebook pages for Kixeye, all the Discord pages or rooms for Kixeye, and also KXL forums. All those rules apply to all of those platforms. So please do that and try to keep those in mind when you're communicating with other people. That's a hell of a state. I know. The games make it from every.
Are you screen sharing anybody right now?
No,
I was going to ask you, which one are you doing?
it's doing the Knicks.
Oh, yes. Oh, can we please see that one? Sorry.
Right,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
I was going to...
Oh, yeah.
Request denied.
Request
Well,
denied.
yeah. There you go.
Can I go for it?
Yes, yeah. Let's see. Let me see if it's caught up to YouTube yet.
Yeah, it's not.
It hasn't caught up yet.
No. Can you just wait
I'm
on
not.
Twitch? Yep, go for it.
Yep, there it goes. It caught up.
Also, I think there's a request there for the order base with the service units and that there. I tried it with that there, but I run out of time. I just do it the old-fashioned way that everybody uses.
You cannot do Ardra bases with Cerberus. You got your time limit. You got to be quick.
Yeah, I tend to run out of time there, so I've tried it a few times.
I can do one if anybody wants to see one.
Can you do it that way? No.
Not with Cerberus. No, they're too slow. You need Darkstorm, Technicals, and Ammer. Then what I do is put clear all the four corners. Put Neil over the top. Well, launch a shock missile first for the centre.
Mm-hmm.
Then I put a coil over the centre, so because you can't shock the Seekers, so that takes all the damage to Neil. Then you go in with all your air and just clean it out. Whatever air you got, whether it's Siege, Nyx, Furies. Think envoys are. Oh, you can't use envoys, sorry. Anything you got that can clean out quick.
Oh, wow, this is really good. I won't remember half of it. I'll have to wait for the
Gunships are a good
Bullseye!
good.
Look at his bonsai right at that avalanche, too. Oh, man.
Gunships are a good one for the middle of Ardra base now.
I didn't even think about that one. I have to learn to fly mine better. I'm going to start practicing and then spend some coin and repair them and practice some more.
No, you don't fly them, you just let them go.
You mean just let them go and do their own thing?
Yep.
Maybe that's my problem, is that I'm actually trying to fly them.
No, just put them in and let them go.
Because Scooby told me to try to remember that the shooting comes from the side and to try to fly them around the edges of a base. I just think I try to overdo it when I'm using them. I only have, well, I just got my 5th one last night. I mean, built my 5th one, so.
I've got 10 level 20s, all gold tech and all.
Oh my gosh, mine are level 10, but I've only been playing with 4.
Watch out when I come to your base.
I know, you'll be able to wipe it out. Well, my base, all my stuff's shoved into a corner right now anyway in my base.
I've got a new saying now. I'm going to Scooby-fy you. Because they showed me.
I like that idea. It was funny, he sent me a picture of his base, I think maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, because I told him I was looking for a new base design. And I sent him a message back. I'm like, oh, thanks. I can't see half the stuff you have because it's covered up by trophies.
Nah, that's secret.
Oh my goodness. I mean, the design is great, but I can't tell what he has where. I think that was his own private personal joke, but I enjoyed it very much.
I can hook up with you later and show you.
That's true, we could. I do have to come up with something. Everything that I have that's old that I thought maybe I could redo, as soon as I look at it, I realize how horrible it would be.
My base at the minute, it's not Scooby's new base, but I do have Scooby's new base as well.
I love the some of the videos that people have been sending me on some of their modified versions, and I won't say specifically what it is that they're putting in their bases to actually combat the Romero. There is, and again, I don't want to name and shame, but there is a person in my sector last night who wasn't online, so completely undefended, and a pretty high-level player came to hit him, had a fair amount of infamy. Did finally get him for 100%, but it was, I think, 2.5 pages worth of pictures just to get everything that he lost on the battle log. So yeah, he did get him for 100%, but oh my goodness, I couldn't believe how much, comparatively, how much the person who he hit, who was offline. So, you know, comparatively, how much he lost was not that much compared to what the other person lost. I mean, I hope the 100 infamy that he got was worth it for all the repairs that he got.
Do you know how dying I am to call people out?
I know, I'm being very, very good.
Here.
But when I asked that person what they had in their base defense, I was actually surprised. And then when they explained to me why, I was like, oh, I never thought about that. So I'm really interested in other people's ideas on what they use, especially to combat Romero and the gunships.
Oh, that was that.
Wow.
That's
Nicely
very
done.
good. Well done there.
Good job. Well, since we're talking about this base, it came up earlier. Zach and I were talking. Yes, I'm going to use his real life name. Zach and I were talking that a lot of players would like to see, maybe like in Holdout, that since these bases, they're not necessarily easy unless you have some decent... Oh, there's Stuart. I think he was coming to steal it. I think he was coming to say, run, quick!
You can't steal a one-hit
Very
bait.
good.
I was going to say, no, I think maybe he was trying to get your turn. That's right, it was a one-hit base. Would you guys like to see the time extended on the 155 bases? Do you think maybe the time is too short? Because I heard you mention it, Anton, that you run out of time. Do you think maybe like in Holdout, if they were extended?
Even by a couple of minutes, like ideally 10 would be great, but if you start halfway with 8, you know, or 9, you know what I mean, it would be pretty good.
Do you mean the aero bases?
Yeah, the hero, the 155s, yeah.
I think you got plenty of time.
Yeah, well, you don't, you know, you DC, you know, you've no time to get back in there.
That was what I was getting from some of the Discord people, or the people across the pond. And 2 or 3 of those people were from, actually 2 people were from Australia, the other one was from New Zealand. And they had pretty good rigs, but by the time they even got in and could deploy, already almost a whole minute had gone off on the timer. So in reality, they don't have those 7 minutes to hit the base.
Yeah,
so I mean,
you're gonna lose the base.
Yeah,
you know, and all you want is another out. You know what I mean? To give you that. Yes, some people have lots of time to do it. Generally, you know, you're running within a minute and a half before the base ends. But if you DC, that's you goosed.
Yep.
So it just gives you another out to get back into game, and that's all it does. Because you do DC, I DC'd a couple of times today, lost the bases. It's a bit frustrating. If I had another couple of minutes, I would have got in.
Yeah, keep them on 1 hit though.
Yeah. I mean, definitely still keep them 1 hit, but just add, you know, like a little bit of time. I'm not as fast. Again, I mean, I'm way better at PvP than I am PvE than I am at PvP, but I have a really good rig and a great connection speed. Some of the videos that some of the players sent me, they're even pretty quick at clicking, you know, when they retreat something and then pulls. I don't mean leave the base. I mean, they're retreating one tune and putting in another tune and then retreating and then putting something else in. They're really fast at doing that, but I see how long it takes for the game to respond to just for their tunes to leave for something else to come in. And it's a lot slower than mine is.
But just on the other hand, if you've deployed your platoon and your DC, it's dead when you get back in anyway.
That's true. That's true. I thought about that.
By taking another tune to it, you can't deploy that tune.
Yeah, I mean, I think the holdout bases were what, 14 minutes?
15, I think.
Or 15. So, I mean, maybe if they would increase the 155 bases to say, like Anton said, like 10 minutes maybe, that would be a nice in-between.
I'm going to bring up a reply from an expert panelist. I'd been to work all day, so modem was off all day, and we were doing all that. I've been in the game 10-15 minutes, and I DC'd on bonus base. And his reply was, "Oh, try power cycling your modem." I'm like, I've just told you I've been out all day.
Yeah.
So it's been switched off. So why would I want to power cycle it?
Yeah. Why would you want to power cycle it down?
So I go into an argument. I'm like, you not even read my ticket. You just sent me a copy and paste.
Yeah, that's later on. Send me the name, or send me the name, or at least send me a copy of that. By the way, because I'd like to take a look at that one. I've had a few people send me some of the same things, and it's the cut and paste don't make any sense to what the ticket was about.
No, I don't think I've got that email anymore. So
Okay.
I'll try and get it on Kicks if it records on there. So I've now reroute them straight to Kickside.
And that's something that everyone can do, by the way. It's not a it's not a big secret. If you feel like that whatever it is that you sent to customer support isn't being addressed, you can always ask to have your ticket escalated.
Oh, sorry, you're not presented. Good job. Can you close your side chat, Zachary?
Oh, yeah, definitely close your side chat. Yep, good idea. Smart.
I was scared then when you presented.
That would be a good idea. Zach had said that he was going to screen share a Shadow at 45. I don't know if anybody wants to see a 45. I watched him do it, but I don't know if anybody on YouTube is interested. Hang on.
Yeah, sure, we can share that if we want to.
Yeah, see, Merrick said, I DC'd an Ardra base. He lost his Darkstorm, Romero, 4 Vindicators, and that was 20 hours of repair. And I think that's one of the reasons why people are so aggravated. Although increasing it from 7 minutes to 10 minutes isn't going to stop you from DCing.
Yeah, but the BS answers you get when you send a ticket.
Yeah, it is really frustrating. I mean, I can say from a player's point of view, me, like I said, I have tried to dedicate as much resources on my main rig to when I'm game playing. If you're going to go into one of those big complicated bases, again, I'm not blaming your rig, but try to make sure that you have at least your cache cleaned and clean your flash cache. And your cookies and cache is not the same thing as your flash cache. No. If you don't know how to do that, PM me or any moderator. It's not that hard to do. It's relatively easy to get into depending on what browser you use. And make sure that's clean. Again, I'm not blaming your rig, but it doesn't hurt to do it once in a while to check it. You'd be surprised how much stuff builds up. Just scrolling the map. Again, another public service announcement. Just scrolling the map from point A to point B, and then picking another point, and then scrolling, and then picking another point, and then scrolling. Every single time you do that, it adds a temp file. Right now, while Zachary is scrolling in this 45, every time he scrolls and it saves the information, it's another temp file on his computer. Because he plays zoomed in. I like to play zoomed out. So every single time you scroll, it saves another temp file on your computer. If your temp file isn't, your temp file. If your computer's not that up to date, if you're not playing hardwired, if you don't have that great of a graphics card, if you don't have that much RAM on your computer, I'm just throwing generalities out there. You could slow your own computer down. So again, I'm not blaming your rig, but why not make sure that your rig is, clean as a baby's butt, freshly powdered when you go into one of these bigger bases? God bless, I love that he can play with all of his animations on. That's pretty kick-ass.
Bravo's just asked who's flashing. I said Skip is live in Hangout while pole dancing. Can you show that live?
What, the pole or the dancing?
Both. Skip flashing.
Oh my goodness. No, if at my age, okay, at my age, you all would be throwing money at me to put my clothes back on. Okay, it would not be anything that you would want to see on a pole. Oh, we used to say that in one of the towns. I won't name the town because I don't want to get in trouble for that. Because
was that Jim laughing in the background?
Oh goodness, no, there is a town that I used to live in where full nudity stripping was allowed, and yes, occasionally, that was the joke in our town, is that if somebody went there for a bachelor party, that they would throw money at the stripper to put her clothes back on.
I remember once I don't know if you want to hear this on YouTube, not War Commander related, but my mate had never been to a strip club, so we went to one. And the music they had on was rock. So we all started head banging. And the bouncers come over, they were like, hang on, you got these women with everything out, and you lot are bloody head banging.
I know.
We're like, yeah, the music's better than your women.
Exactly. That's terrible. Isn't that terrible? It's funny because in some states, when you go to strip clubs, women get in for free. So North Carolina happens to be one of those. And if you guys, I'm sorry, South Carolina, if you're ever down in Myrtle Beach and you go to the Crazy Horse, I haven't been there in a while, but back in the day when I used to go there, it was one of the best ones ever to go to. And women get in for free. So you have the best time when you're there. And it's actually pretty cool. All right, I'm just going to tell you. I won't tell you who it said, but somebody just sent me a PM and said they'd pay $500 if I were to throw my bra on his ears. Well, your ears would be warm for years.
You're a poet and you don't know it.
Your ears would be warm for years. Oh my goodness. I won't say the person's name. Thank you for that. That was a good giggle.
I'm just trying to remember the token, what do you call it, hardware base. Just for fun.
Does it do any good there, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, again, with the cyclones, it's like a lot of people don't even use their cyclones anymore.
It's another unit glitch.
All right, back to game then. Nobody's got anything to say anymore.
Just watching Zach.
No, it's because this is actually very interesting to watch him do this because I do this base differently, and I'm liking this very, very much.
I think everybody's picturing Skip on a dance floor.
No,
Murder on the dance floor.
No. Yes, agreed with you, Bravo. Life's too short. We're all humans. And seriously, guys, again, you don't have to like me. Yes, I know I talk too much. I don't care.
What women don't talk too much?
Yeah, what woman doesn't? Seriously, honestly. I can admit that about my own gender. It's the truth. I make mistakes. I'm human like everybody else. I call units the wrong thing sometimes. I call out the wrong text. No, I am not a War Commander Wiki, although I did hear from Troy today, by the way. So for those of you who've sent any kind of messages to Troy recently, whether you're friends with him on Facebook or Discord, I do appreciate. And for any of you who'd like to touch base with him, I'm sure he would love to hear from you. And for those of you who, shame on any of you who have been poo-pooing the idea that he hasn't been keeping up with the wiki because his mom passed away.
Yes, it was actually, we were on that today. It was actually down the site, so it was there, so they must be updating it.
Yeah, I think it's probably something that he's working on. At least that's what I'm hoping for. I'll say it on the show because this is Shadow Killer's brand. He was at one time, and I know Shadow Killer, if he was here, he would say it. At one time, he was asking if anybody had ever used the wiki and if it had ever been useful to them, if they could afford to donate just $1 through PayPal to help him with the hosting. Taking care of his mom while she was going through her illness was, I'm sure, very, not just time consuming, but very costly. I'm sure he put a lot of his own personal life on hold in order to do that. And at any time when someone passes away, you never really know what kinds of financial things are going to come up. And it's not cheap to it's not free to host the wiki site. So I'll throw it out there because I know Shadow Killer would say it. And heck, if he was here right now, or if we ended the show right now, he'd start another show and say, hell yeah, anybody that's ever used the wiki, If you have access to PayPal, send $1 to Troy. It's not free to host it. So, and depending on how many pages he needs and how much space he has to use, it gets more expensive. So if you happen to like Troy and you use the wiki a lot and you don't think that it's rude of what I just said, send him $1. I have. Jim and I have. I know other people who have. I know other people that have sent more than $1. He appreciates whatever it is that you're willing to send. I think what he does is wonderful. It's like Huggies. Any of you have played Battle Pirates, Huggies Shipyard. He created that on his own. It was a place where you could go and you could create your ships and your fleets. You could find out if you were overweight. You could find out if something stacked or it didn't stack. You could find out how many ships you could put in a fleet. Kixeye never created anything like that for Battle Pirates. This man went out and created these incredible spreadsheets with these incredible mathematics, and he made a website. Huggies just retired. I have no idea if they're going to take that website down or not, but I can tell you what, the people from Battle Pirates, I hope somebody picks up the torch and carries it, because it was definitely a useful tool, and Huggy has decided to retire, so I'm not sure if anybody's going to pick that up or not. But the War Commander Wiki is, I get most of my answers from there. You think I can keep it all inside my head? No.
Can I just ask what's happened there, Skip?
With,
the wiki and that.
let me check. Is it really still down?
It's down a few hours ago there, supposedly.
It was earlier, but...
Take it this, take it there.
Mine's up now, but it has new ads on it. Haha.
Oh, right.
Maybe that's why. Mine's up now.
So I've got the wrong end of the story then. So I went away to get some more beer.
Oh, well, of course, that's important. Well, let me double check, though. I mean, it's up. I went to it, and it's up. Yep, got to the building section. I don't see anything that's down. There's, yeah, look at that. Oh, there we go. It actually has the page. There's 1,399 pages on this wiki, so almost 1,400 pages. It's been a long time since I've hosted a website that wasn't more than like 5 or 6 pages, but it's very expensive to host.
Nicely done there.
Very
Zach.
well done, Zach. Good job.
It's just, he's a grinder, that young gentleman.
Yes, he works very, very hard at coming up with, oh, look at that, right next to a Nick's token base. Why don't you do that one? We had a conversation about the token bases earlier today.
Bravo saying now back to the pole dancing.
Back to the dancing. Oh, my goodness.
Banzai!
I bet you.
Bullseye. Hey, baby, can we get a pole and maybe a disco ball and light it up for Christmas or something?
Sure.
There you go. Maybe we'll do that for Christmas. I know, we'll do it for turkey. Oh, my goodness. You guys could see my...
God forbid, when I was younger, I remember being on...
No, I'm not. I'm Irish. Is that close to Polish? No. It's under.
I'm UK,
So-
so I'm a bit closer.
That's it.
Now we're talking.
Guys, I think we covered basically everything and probably a little bit more.
Say, Hunter says a little Santa outfit. I have one of those, Hunter. Have you been in my closet? Get out of my closet, dude. I have one of those. Oh,
A rusty pole.
they make lube for that.
Get a grinder and polish it a bit.
I was gonna say, Sam, you need to get a knob polisher. That's all I gotta say. They make stuff for that.
Okay, guys, I think that's a wrap there for tonight. I think.
Got it. I don't think there's any other bases anybody wanted to see, right?
It was just that harder with the service, but
That was pretty cool.
I can't do it on the time.
I'll tell you now, you cannot do Ardra with Cerberus.
No, it's part of the not just as the dating for the acolytes and that right thing.
Yeah, you can't do it. It takes up too much time. You're just wasting time. Darkstorm, Hammer, and Technicals.
I missile the bunkers now use a shock missile for the center.
4 Mavericks on each bunker. Then you take out the 2 spawner buildings first. You clear up the 4 corners with nicks or whatever air you got. Don't use blackout, it's too slow. So nicks, what are their units? Forget what they're bloody called.
Furies.
Yep, Furies. Anything quick. Take out the 4 corners. Put a Neil over the top of the CC after you shock it. And then you go in with your Furies, nicks, whatever else you can put in, and just blow the base up. Done. And you'll have about a minute left. As long as you don't DC. Do you want to show it live, or I can put that tune together? I think
it's up to you if you guys want to keep going.
it's up to Anton. He's running the show.
No, well, if YouTube wants it, if not there, well.
Yeah, what do you guys?
There.
You want to see it, or I mean, hey, you guys just start. Hey, Lonnie, I'm saying it anyway. Yeah, it's fuck you. But hey, Lonnie, how you doing?
Hi there, mate. How you doing?
Hunter Hamish also wants to know what would be best: get your Ardra tokens first or your Roland tokens first. Ooh, that's a tough one because I use Roland on my base.
I went Survivor for my CC, so I would go for Roland to get
Roland
it
first. Yeah.
Because I think the Ardra, even at level 5 or level 3, is still good enough, and you don't really put that in your base defense. So I'm going that way.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Roland bases are tricky now. They are indeed.
Yeah, I have to admit, yes, the Rolands are a lot harder now, and my Roland tokens I got from a package. Sorry. I got mine from a package. That's sort of some of the times is the times when I hope that something good does come out in a package. I was, by the way, just kill my CT. I was looking through the bug reports in another public service announcement for Discord. Again, it's not to be a negative kind of a person when I say this, but Discord isn't a replacement for customer support. If you put something in the bug reports, usually an official at Kixeye and or the moderators will see it. Maybe we might not comment on it, but maybe we'll go to the team and we'll find out. And if there isn't anything, I guess maybe we should start posting in the bug reports. We don't have any further information on that, but thank you for bringing it to our attention. Again, the bug reports, especially on the weekends, guys, after 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, Kixeye time on a Friday, if it's a holiday, I'm not saying Kixeye's not there. I'm saying they're not all there like they would be from 9 to 5 Kixeye time. Discord and bug reports or any of the other channels in Discord, it's not a replacement for customer support. If you have an issue, if you have a bug, if something happened to you in game and you have the ability to send a ticket, sure, go ahead and post it in the Discord room if you can, but do send your ticket, because you're more than likely, if it's happening to you, it's probably happening to someone else, and Kixeye pays attention to those numbers. But if you don't get answered in Discord, feel free to PM one of the moderators. Even if you don't see their light on, feel free to PM either one or all the moderators and say, hey, I posted this in bug reports and I've never gotten an answer. And we might not have the answer, but at least you're bringing it to someone's attention, and we will try to advocate on your behalf. But Kixeye, even though you see their lights on, they don't get paid to sit in Discord and watch what's being said in Discord all day long. They get paid to produce the game. So Discord is a great avenue, and it's a privilege that we have it. But it's not always going to, you're not always going to get an immediate answer. And they're not always ignoring you. It's because they're off busy doing something else. So if you don't get an answer from a Kixeye person, go ahead and PM all the moderators. They're all listed. PM all the moderators until you get somebody to answer you. And if they tell you we don't have an answer yet, they mean it. It's because we don't have an answer, and we'll try to advocate on your behalf. I don't see anything specific in here that wasn't answered recently. I did want to do this real quick before we signed off. I don't know if they fixed this or not yesterday. As far as I know, there is still an issue with friends disappearing, but it's not always a KIXEYE issue, by the way. If your account has ever been linked with Facebook at any time, that's going back to all the way when KXL was introduced, which was in 2012, I believe, is when KXL was created. KXL means KIXEYE.com. If you have ever linked your account to KIXEYE and KXL at the same time, but you don't pay from Facebook anymore, sometimes the friends list is there's issues on the Facebook end. So if you're having an issue and you have access to customer support, you can send them a ticket and they can look into it for you. But most often the answer is because it's something on Facebook's end. Not saying that's always the answer. There was also an issue earlier, and I don't have my game open. There was an issue earlier with the base layouts, your base layout. There were a select few people where their base layouts were changing. They would have their walls placed in a certain place. They would go out to the map and hit something, come back into their base, and their base layout had changed, like it hadn't saved or walls were in a different place. I'm not really sure if there was a fix for that, but if you have that and you have access to customer support, definitely take video would be better, even if it's just Bandicam. Video would be better than screenshots. And definitely send a ticket with that video onto KIXEYE so they can look into that further. It's not happening to a lot of people. I couldn't reproduce it. That doesn't mean it's not happening to you. I saw enough videos of people that it was happening to.
I think that was the new base editor.
Yeah, the base editor. And again, for those of you who don't know about the changes to the base editor, you can pick up all your mines now and move them at one time.
Switch can explain on that because he had it after the win.
Did it happen to you, Switch? Did your base change?
Yeah.
Yeah, it took them hours to get it back again.
I was I just wanted to move my watchtower just a little bit, so I marked the square side with the walls and moved them. And after I was jumped out on the map and do some resource bases, jump back in, and my base looked like it was hit by 50 PKs.
Wow.
It looked like the Hiroshima bomb had gone off.
So I was without a base design for 2 days. Then I got some help to make my base whole again. Rob helped me with that one.
Yeah. And now you're enjoying your new base now.
Yeah. But if you have to, in the beginning, be a little careful how you use it. Go in and out and see if the changes follow what you do. Because it looks like it was throwing in a molder.
I would, I'll just throw it out there because I've said it before. I mean, this is, as a player, should we have to do it? No. But if you want to, CYA, do it anyway. If you're going to make a major change to your base, take a picture ahead of time with the time and date stamp. You may say to yourself, oh, what difference does it make? I don't know. Just take a picture of it so you have it. And if something like that happens, definitely, if you're eligible to send a ticket to support, send a ticket to support, because even if they don't compensate you, they still there are still bean counters there at KIXEYE that keep track of these issues. So if it's happening to you, and if it's happening to 10 people, I'm not saying they go, we don't care, we're not going to fix it, because of course not. Eventually, if it gets to a moderator, we'll get it to somebody and we'll try to get somebody fixed. But if it's happening to you, it's probably happening to someone else. So take the time, if you can, send a picture and send a ticket in if it's happening.
It'd be great if you could save your base, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm hoping that they can get to that point like they have in Battle Pirates, where we have at least 2 bases that we can save.
Do like a template.
Yes, that would be lovely.
Event base and like a PvP base. Skip Elliot saying, can you send him a link about HTML?
And I send who? What am I sending a link to?
Larry Elliott on YouTube chat.
Oh, yes. Yes, I will go and get it. You know what? I guess I could,
I'm just gonna jump off YouTube a minute.
yeah, hang on, let me see. Actually, I think I have it. Hold on, I'll find it. I think I can post it in the YouTube chat. I think I can. I mean, since I have the wrench, I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. I know I can. I know I can. Little train that could. Actually, the big fat train that could. Oh, stop it. It's true. No, I lost 9 pounds, honestly. It's only because I was sick. Let me find it. I could post it there. Yeah, Larry, I think I could send it to you in a PM. Gosh, I just had somebody else ask me for it, and I posted it on their sector page. All right, well, wow, there's a lot of activity on this sector page. Didn't realize it. Facebook security. Oh, it's somewhere around there. I know I posted it. Ruby Reborn. Chat with us on Discord. Yeah, if you guys don't know how to get on Discord, please do. Let me post.
Discord is brilliant. If you can't get a proper answer from Kickside, PM one of the mods or one of the Kickside bloody workers. Stormchaser, I'm not sure how active he is now, but he was always active. Shoot him a PM, he'll PM you back.
Yeah, I mean, some of the, here we go. It is. Oh, this is the one where I did, this is one where I did the Scotty picture. We're always at full power. Why does Kirk think I'm holding something back? Yeah, I'll post it. It's a, well, it's a YouTube. Podcast, friendly fixture addresses bugs. Yep, in case you guys didn't know it, War Commander has over 10 million lines of code. That doesn't include event code, by the way. So the game itself, just the base game itself, has more than 10 million lines of code. Just let that sink in for a minute. That's a lot of code. Here we go. I think, oh, shoot. It'd help if I would cut and paste the right one. Got it. Let's see. Where is the, let me see if it's going to post it. There we go. Did it post it? Yes, it did. That's just it's the friendly fixer interview, but he talks about a lot of stuff. He talks about the life cycle of a bug. He talks about how many lines of code. He talks about your computer. What necessarily is a good thing to have, what really makes no difference in this game. He talks about, you know, why they mention clearing cookies and cache. He talks about graphic cards, you know, whether or not a graphic card is good or not, how much RAM is good to play the game. He talks about all of that. He's actually very intelligent, funny, and I say young man because, yes, he's young enough to be my kid, but he actually gives out a lot of great information, and he does talk about the migration. And Battle Pirates is already currently in the migration of being completely flash-free.
You just said, Skip, when your computer is good enough to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
When did you decide that?
Who when did they decide it, or who decided it?
Who decides it and when?
Well, that's a good question.
Is it when the game gets too big, or?
That's a good question. Since it's being migrated, I think the minimums are going to change, and I think they actually address that. I'm pretty for sure. I have to be careful not to use his real life name because I address him by his real name. I'm pretty for sure Friendly Fixer addresses that. I believe Bernie asks him that question, that once the migration is done, does that mean that the computers would be better. Because one of the questions is, should people run out and go buy new computers? And I believe Friendly Fixer's answer is no, exactly the opposite. Once the migration is finished, the game should run better. So his suggestion was not to go out and buy new computers. Again, I'm paraphrasing because it was a great interview and there's a lot of information in there. I don't want to misquote him. I would, and I'm not, you know, they don't make any money off you guys watching the podcast. Okay. So the only reason why I'm promoting the podcast is because it's almost too much information for me to share verbally and get it right line by line. I believe it's Kixeye who makes that determination, and there is a guideline on the help desk, which is free. The help desk on KXL is free, but I don't think that help desk gets updated often enough. All of us as moderators have kind of made that sort of like our little, you know, pet peeve with Kixeye, is that we wish that the help desk was updated a little more often. It has some outdated information on it. I think the best people to ask, other than a Kixeye employee, would be myself. If you don't want to talk to me because you don't like me, it's okay. I have a problem with that. Cybertoad.
You're the Queen of War Commander. Shut up.
Well, yeah. You guys gave me that title. I didn't give that to myself. Yeah. Other people would say that I'm something else of War Commander, and it's Jim's laughing over there. Yeah, you can't imagine what. I've heard some of those words recently. Yeah, like me getting underneath the desk. Anyway, you can.
Is the King of War Commander.
You can ask David, Dark Shadows, because that's what he does for a living all day long. Bless his heart. He's in the technology field, and that's what he does. And he also works on help desk all day long. You can ask Cybertoad. He's very knowledgeable about what works well. Cybertoad loves Linux. I can't stand Linux. Some people like Apple. I would prefer not to play War Commander on an Apple. I'd rather use a Windows-based computer, but that's just my preference. I'm not saying that you can't ask Axel or Daba, because I know Axel knows what the minimum ones are, but I'm not as familiar with Axel's technology experience. And Daba would probably come and ask one of us. So, and that's not to put Daba down. He would probably come and ask one of us. So if you don't like me, you don't like Cybertoad, you don't like Dark Shadows, you're kind of up shit creek. And you might as well go to somebody Kixeye. But pick any one of the moderators and they'll help you with the basics. I recently remote accessed 2 players' computers through TeamViewer, got their permission. It's one of the things that I do for a living. And when somebody does something they're not supposed to do, it's a no-no. As a contractor, I'll go into somebody's computer, I clean out their porn, I don't tell their boss, and I fix their computer so it works again. I recently did that for 2 players, and I showed them how to use 2 really good free cleaners, and I cleaned a lot of stuff off their computer. They had some really old drives that one person had more than 22 drives on his computer that hadn't been updated since one was 2016, and it was part of his graphic driver system. So we're at the end of 2018. So you see what I'm saying? When your drives are out of date, when you have registry errors, and anything could cause you to have a registry error. You could by accident click on something on Facebook and your virus protection or whatever it is that you have says, whoa, do you really want to go there? Or a video plays for a few minutes and in the middle of it there's midget porn or something, and you're like, oh my god, how do I get that off my computer? And then you may end up with a registry error. You may end up with a faulty file. That could also affect your game. Again, I'm not blaming your system, but if you don't keep your rig clean, your game's not going to run well. I mean, that's the bottom line. So if you're not sure what the basic requirements are to play the game, definitely get with one of the moderators. But I can tell you, once the migration is finished, that will all change again. It'll actually change for the better. So sorry about that, Bravo. No, Hamish, I'm not a mod, but I am one of their biggest fans. So there you go. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I couldn't resist the midget porn thing. Hey, you guys used to harass Shadow Killer with that stuff all the time. And I will say it.
Midget porn and Shadow Killer on.
And yes, I will say it. There's actually been 2 players that have posted videos. One of them is banned from Discord. And yes, I was the person who banned them, but I will not say their name. Who, under the guise of posting a video to help players, in the middle of it, several different times were scenes from midget porn. So in a PM, I asked him not to do that again, very nicely. And he said it was an ode to Shadow Killer, which I thought was hilarious. Yes, I have a picture of the conversation. And then about 3 days later, he did it again. So yes, that person, I'm sure he'll create an alt and he'll probably do it again. But yeah, don't post videos on Discord under the guise of it being a helpful video, because we will check those videos to see if there's stuff on there. That's too funny. It was pretty funny. No, I didn't sit there and watch it over and over again. I swear. It's not my not my thing.
Can we see them?
No. No.
Why not? We could do real laugh.
No, Shadow Killer would be so mad.
No.
No, he wouldn't.
Trickster means he wants to see the video to see if it'll help his game.
Oh, it'll help his game. I don't think it'll help his War Commander game. It may help his right-handed or left-handed game. But
That might help his Juggernaut, you know what I mean?
No, I'm definitely left-handed.
Nope, it's not still on Discord, Hunter. Sorry.
Hunter's disappeared. Now he runs back with a big sad face.
Oh my goodness. I got way deep into this conversation. I shouldn't have. I'm so sorry.
That search fry you told us about there, we're all searching it.
Yeah, if any of you guys watch that podcast with Bernie and Friendly Fixer, and if there's anything that he says that seems like it's a little bit more technologically advanced than what you understand, I would like to be completely honest with all of you, is if you don't understand something, there's nothing wrong with admitting that you didn't understand something that somebody said. There are a lot of things out there in this world. I ask people all the time about PvP stuff because I suck at PvP, but I'm not ashamed to ask. I'm in the technology field. My husband's in the technology field. If there's something that you don't understand that's on one of those podcasts, it's okay to send a PM to me or to any one of the other mods, and we're not going to go out and say, guess who asked me this question? No, I want you to understand it because, number one, it's educating you, and number two, you will understand if we're all talking about it on a show, and number three, it's going to make your game better because you're going to understand it more. I don't care what tag you wear. I don't care what country you live in. I don't care who you're friends with and who you're not friends with. If it makes your game better so that you can ask the question, ask the question. That's what's really important. Oh, I know. One person asked me about the fire text. Does anybody on YouTube want to see an entire picture list of all the fire texts, or do you guys already have all that?
No,
You guys,
it'd be good there, not there. People can actually, and maybe post it up on Unshackled as well there.
yeah, I have a picture, but then they would have
just
to.
presenting you there now.
You are presenting me? Oh, Lord have mercy. Let me close some of my pages.
Well, you're not screen sharing yet, so you're okay.
I know, I'm not screen sharing yet. I have one. I have to share the other one. I'm trying to get to the other one. Ah, fuck it. You'll see my desktop for a second, but hang on a second. Let me go to screen share.
If you two just heard that engine start up, that's a hint on the new fixed wing.
Screen share. Is the I'm going to ask a dumb question. Speaking of not knowing.
Hang on, Skip. Hunter English is saying Skip is mod for new Pornhub.
Me what?
You're a
He
moderator.
was joking you're another mod for Pornhub.
Pornhub.
That's a wee while ago.
I just caught that.
Oh, he's still on Discord. Storm Chaser today at Hunter Hamish. Sorry, we will not be allowing the stacking of HH2 targeting tech. Oh, that's all he said. Oh, man. Post it on the pages. We should. Definitely. We should post that out.
Stack HH2.
HH2 targeting tech. Yeah, there have been some people that have been asking about it being stacked. Let me see if I can share this from. You know what? I know where I can share this, and it won't be that big of a deal.
What's the range of it?
It's 100.
100% plus.
Yep.
No, 100 range at it.
Sure is.
What's the other HH2s? Is it 25?
Oh my gosh, that's a good question. That I would have to go to the wiki for.
Yes, but I think he was wanting to know if you had two of them, could you stack them up to make it like range of 3,000?
If I stack them up, I'd outrange bloody rail guns.
I know.
No, you probably need a runway to shoot the damn thing.
I know, exactly. Right, I'm trying to think of the best way to. I'm just gonna do it. If you guys see my page,
it wasn't really a serious question, I don't think.
No, you're only screen sharing your avatar, Skip.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I was trying to think of the best way to screen share the picture. I want to make sure my chat was closed too. I'm trying to be good.
Yeah, be good.
I'm trying to be good. Yeah, max HH2 is 100. Yes.
100 and the other one's 75 and 50, I think.
All right, I think I'm sharing. This is let me know when YouTube catches up. I hope this is big enough. I don't know if I can make it any bigger. That's what she said.
She loves it bigger.
Ooh, that might be too big, but wow. No woman ever said that.
Yeah, you're caught up on YouTube now.
Okay, so these are some of them. This is a player in Discord who I asked his permission. He's the one who put these pictures together, but I didn't ask if I could use his name, so I don't want to do that. But these are the different fire techs. So again, this is for each one of the units and what they go on. This one is for, I believe this one that's for Romero, I think, the Bandolier. This one is for Skipjack of the Breachers, the Dragon's Breath. Here's the one for the Darkstorm, the Firestorm rounds, the one for the Prophet, the Molten Ammo, Ardor and Purifiers called the Magnesium Rods. And then for Poly and the other Cyclops, it's called the Incendiary Beam, of course, 6. And then it says which tech that it is. Obviously, Survivor Tech, Corpus Fire Tech, Sentinel Fire Tech. All these are available from the Ryukai 50 bases that have been on the map for, gosh, what, 5 weeks? Let's see, today is the 20th. I think they were out the week after September's event. So it was like the last week of September. So yeah, they've been out for about a month. Hang on one second. Let me get to, oh my God, I really don't want to do this, but all right, really quick, you're not going to look. I promise you're not going to look. Da, 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 da. Oh shoot, was that the same one? Ah, fuck, I picked the wrong one, sorry. Don't look at my screen. There. Let me make that bigger, and let me try to make that a little bit bigger so you guys can see. Guess it's not letting me open it any bigger. Oh, sorry about that one. That one won't let me make it any bigger. Sorry. The mounted flamethrower is for the War Rig. The fire rocket drones is for the Blackout. I think those are going to be critical for this event. The fire bombs is for the Jug. The regular flamethrower is for the Liberators. The fire grenades are for the Spartans. The fire ammo is for the Hammers and Roland. The fire cannon Z is for the bone saws, which I do have on my bone saws now, and on 2 of them anyway, and they're vicious. For the Apollos and Orin, it's called the true fire damage. Yes, they're fire units, but this particular one is even more. I don't know the comparison between what the regular rounds are compared to this one for the fire rounds, and for the Valiant, they're just called fire rounds. So there's the picture. Sorry, this one wasn't any bigger. I didn't make it bigger before the show. My fault. I should have made it bigger. So I hope that helped. If you want pictures of it, let me know. I'll give it to you. PM me or send me a message in Discord. I'll give it to you, and you can post it on your clans pages. Again, another public service announcement, like I said earlier, make sure your workshop isn't busy. This was a complaint the last event. Make sure your workshop isn't busy doing a 7-day or 4-day or 5-day upgrade to a diamond tech right before you go into the zombie event. You're probably going to find that you're going to want to switch your fire techs on and off depending on the bases that you hit. You might find out that the fire drones for your blackout are great for certain bases, and then you might want to put the regular drones back on for other bases. So
you can switch them if you've unlocked them, though. So you can still do that.
Yes, exactly. You can switch them. So make sure your tech center isn't busy doing a diamond tech or some other kind of research. Keep your tech center open for the zombie event. So
likely we'll be getting something for the Romero, another tech slot maybe.
Oh, it is. Okay, Animal, I had problems the last time with mine. All right, Animal says that you can swap the tech out.
Yes, you can swap the tech out.
All right, I had problems with that last time, so that's interesting.
But also what you said about the workshop, make sure there'll likely be something, usually it's 400,000 or 500,000 XP, a tech either for the Prophet or Darkstorm or Romero, I'm guessing, or tech for this new unit. We're getting a new unit, so you need to leave that free just in case it comes up.
Yep.
20% off.
So time it for
yeah.
Wednesday or Thursday, you know what I mean?
Yep, and it was just something to think about. But you're right; it's better safe than sorry. But I did get stuck. It wasn't a diamond tech. I don't remember what it was that I was researching. It was something like to take the level 3. I don't know, one of the ones where there's just a bronze and a silver and a gold. I don't know, or level 1, 2, or 3. And I got stuck. So for the first 3 days, I mean, yeah, I sent the ticket. And somebody said, oh, well, you should be able to change things while it's upgrading. And I couldn't swap anything. And, of course, what I ended up doing was the last day I coined it. And then I was able to swap out the text that I needed. But, again, the October event, I was only able to play for, I think, 3 days, if that. So it was really frustrating for me that I couldn't get that to work.
While we're on about events, we've got the zombie main event coming up.
Mm-hmm.
What everybody's asking, are we going to get a nightmare event after?
Yes, in November.
We are doing.
Yes, I believe that'll probably be...
And that'll be zombies too, right?
Yes, I believe were people who were asking about the nightmare event. I don't have the direct quote, so I'm paraphrasing. That was in the... Oh, God, I think it was in the general room, but I'm not 100% sure. But if you do a search on Discord underneath Storm Chaser's name, it is in November. I believe it's the first week of November. So he did say, no, we didn't forget about the nightmare event. It wouldn't fit in October. Right. So because we had Holdout, of course, in October, and Holdout was delayed. I don't think I'll get in trouble for saying that because I think Holdout originally was intended to come out sooner than it did. So we had Holdout in October, and then, of course, this event is late in the month, so Nightmare will be in November.
That's great.
Let me say, it's planned. Nothing with Kixeye is set in stone, and I don't want to speak in absolutes.
Yeah. Can we also expect a zombie invasion?
That's a good question. It was proposed. It was proposed that Holdout would run 1 month and Invasion would run the next month, and then Holdout and then Invasion. Yeah. That's the way Kixeye proposed it. It's the way that I have seen it discussed on Discord. I don't know this for sure. It's just based on the information that I've seen. I would assume that there may be an Invasion in November.
Because I'm speaking for myself. I'm going to speak out for myself here. I love the zombies. And I'm sure 99% of community love zombies. It's our favourite time of the year. We love zombie events.
Yep. I do. I don't like Onyx. I don't want spiders. I have seen some conversations of that recently on Discord. Stop bringing up Onyx. Stop giving Kixeye ideas.
Yeah, can we have zombie spiders?
No! No! No, it's like those damn jumping spiders. No, I don't want zombie spiders. Wait, we almost did have some zombie spiders, didn't we? Weren't there some that were so big that they were like super hard to kill?
Yeah. Wasn't that the boss one where it changed into another zombie after you killed it?
Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah, I don't want any flying ones either. I don't want flying zombies either. That's like flying monkeys. Although occasionally I do release the flying monkeys.
What? Bravo's calling me out. What's wrong with flying zombies?
I know.
When they hit the ground, they change into spiders. Then you got to kill them.
Oh my gosh, Chickster. You need to go to work for Kickstarter. Go send your ideas off to Storm Chaser. Let him, wrap his brain around those. Maybe we'll get those next year. I didn't like the Onyx events, by the way. I didn't really care for them that much, especially the Sentinel one. I wasn't prepared as well for that one.
The one in the 80 was a bit of a bitch.
Yeah, that 180 was a bitch. And a lag monster. There were so many people who crashed it couldn't even do it in the first place because it was so horrible.
I'm only joking, Skip, but she reminded me of you.
Thank you.
To chew everyone up.
Thank you. Actually, the one where her voice, where she's standing there, her face comes out. That's me before I go to bed. Ha ha ha. You may think you have beaten me, but you are wrong. Eventually, I will get you and consume you. Ha ha ha.
We could call you the Black Widow, couldn't we?
You could. That's right. You could call me the Black Widow. There's some people that have called me worse. I'll take that one too. Whatever it is. Just don't call me late for dinner.
Sorry, Jim.
Guys, I take it you're going to be on here. I have to do a message here for 10 minutes. The show can still go on there.
I am off to bed soon.
No, we might as well do the shout outs. I think we're pretty much done. You want to do the shout outs real fast?
Yeah, me? Yeah.
Which ones get off to bed? So
shout out to you guys, and shout outs to those who are seeing the program on the YouTube. And shout out for the great people I've met in the game. That's all.
Awesome. And Bullseye!
Banzai!
Take care, mate.
Take care. Right.
See you tomorrow, mate.
Yeah.
Good night, Switch.
Good night.
Good night.
So, are we doing our shout outs, or do you want to continue on just...
No, go ahead. You said you had to go. Who do you want to do next? I can do mine or Trickster. Doesn't matter. Zach.
Go ahead there, Trickster.
Anton, did you want to touch up on something else, or?
No, that.
No, you want. Right, Zach's giving his shout outs to everybody on YouTube and the panel.
Yeah, and my shout outs are just thanks to everybody on the panel. Thanks for all the comments and that there. Thanks to Skip Jack for all the information, all the extra information.
I'm going to give a pretty long shout out, so I'm going to be like another 10 minutes.
You're going to give a pretty long one? Okay, do you want me to go first, since mine was normally long, but I don't have that much. I pretty much said everything I needed to say earlier.
I'll go for it. Thanks to Anton for his shows. We do this bloody crap for the community. Not all the bullshit that's been going on. You want to pick on mods, you pick on myself, you pick on City. Fuck it. And I will swear on this. I don't give a shit. You want to bubble me? It's a pixel fucking game, for fuck's sake. You know who you are. We've got screenshots. We've got live recordings of what you're doing, what you fucking are. You're just a bunch of wankers. You sit on that fucking show, spurting out bullshit to the community, and you think fucking 100% they're gonna believe you. You're fucking full of bollocks. And yeah, it is you, Roy boy.
Right here, just...
Yeah, you flapped me last week. Well, last night. You flapped me. What did fucking Champ do? He done fuck all in my base. He lost me fucking He lost his Amiga kitchen fucking sink for fuck's sake and couldn't even give me a 1-star. So you can go bollocks. I'm done.
That's okay. And
yeah, I'm gonna say sorry, YouTube. I didn't mean to go and say that, but I've been holding it in for fucking weeks. It's bullshit. They want to pick on the mods and that, and they think, oh, this is over a glitch. Yeah, right.
Okay, on that note, thank you all there, and tune in to Dark Shadow's show there on Wednesday, I think at 7:30 Eastern. Also, there will be an event show next Thursday, 1 o'clock Eastern-ish. And a Saturday event show as well there and that there, and hopefully. And get at it on the page there, guys, and get more new faces on the panel as well there if you want to join there. It's very, very easily done. Take care. Keep it classy.